for June 4th, 2023, recorded live from Mumbai and Bangalore.
Yes,
Um, this is the Andolan TV podcast.
yes. Welcome everyone, and especially Sushrut Sharma. Sorry. Oh my God. Sushrut Sharma. Hi. Thank you for
Our,
joining from the
our first
beginning.
viewer,
Yeah.
so a
Nice.
second viewer, we had a guy last time, but
Almost every stream we had like someone, at least one person commenting. But I think it's a good sign if somebody's commenting, like somebody's chatting from the get go.
mm, yeah,
I think last time I kind of shot myself in the foot because I made it made it such that only subscribers of more than a minute can chat, and I guess that
you've
like kind of
disabled that
drive.
now.
Yeah, I've disabled that. I have now
Okay,
made it such that potentially inappropriate comments are held back.
okay. That's I see you've taken my advice for about the
Yes,
water.
yes, the true proletariat, uh, thing.
Yes, I am using the bourgeois this thing bottle.
Yes, the bourgeois sipper versus the proletariat pet. What are these? I don't even know. I don't know what their name is, but they are in every
Sada bottle.
house. Huh?
Sada PET plastic bottle.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. With these floral patterns always.
Mm.
But yeah, let's start.
Yeah,
Uh,
because we have a lot to cover today.
a lot has happened.
A lot
Just
has happened.
yeah,
बहुत कुछ हुआ है, क्या किया है, क्या बचा है.
yeah. Um, I think do you wanna build up to more heavier topics, or do you wanna just start out
I think we go NCERT.
NCRT? Yeah, let's talk about that. So,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
uh, so I will tell what I know about it. Because I read up about it because there aren't really that much of a media coverage on it.
Mm-hmm.
Even the regular online like sites like the print or any of these other like which I consume for regular news aren't really talking
Mm-hmm.
about it as much.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, what has happened is that we have for the CBSE board schools, the prescribed
Mm-hmm.
textbooks are NCRT,
Mm-hmm.
and every year they decide on a curriculum for like 10th and 12th class board exams. So they decide, okay, which chapters they'll keep in the syllabus in the final exams, not all together, but like, okay, what will be part of the actual uh, questionnaire, that like where will the questions be pulled from. That's like a regular thing. More often than not, about one chapter every year gets excluded, which is very unpredictable. It's mostly random. It's better to just prepare all of it. What they have done this year, initially, what they did was that they removed the from the social sciences books the chapters on the Mughal dynasties and the Industrial Revolution from the curriculum, I believe. And they said that, okay, this is because of. Wait, did you hear that?
I did. Don't worry about it.
Huh?
I did. Don't worry about it.
Okay. I hope this doesn't happen again. Anyway, so yeah, so what they did was that, okay, since it has all been locked down and it's all been like online studying and it has been hard on students, let we are just trimming the syllabus such that it's easier for the kids to prepare. And even then, it was like the topics they picked were quite odd. Like they specifically like the Industrial Revolution and the Mughal dynasties in Delhi. And it's like, okay, fine, whatever. It seems to be just like bureaucratic, like stuff that, okay, we had to cut something. Let's cut this. But then they went ahead and now are removing chapters from new editions of NCRT books. And specifically, the chapters that are under scrutiny are from the science curriculum, the chapters on, for example, evolution. That is a really like odd one, right? That is like that's not even the worst chapters. And then there is even sorry, there is even chapters on from class ninth textbooks on how we fall sick, which involves like things like germ theory and common diseases, difference between heredity and non-hereditary diseases, diseases, the introduction to the concept of diseases in human beings.
Mhm.
And it's been like, so this is like, and of course periodic table from the class 10th textbooks, which I guess, which I remember as much as it was like the evolution of how the periodic table came to be in its current form, including like how elements were classified and then what are the different attempts to classify elements. It is like not even the worst chapter is what I'm saying. It's not even like, if you gave an average 10 class 10 student the ability to remove a chapter, those would be like, okay, we are, this is a bit like, makes a little sense of us for us, because the students are not expected to memorize the periodic table. They're just expected to have an understanding of the different sections, like, okay, l- like metals, non-metals, heavy metals, what are the different categories, what are the different sections in the periodic table, and uh, yeah, basic stuff like that. So removing that is extremely like inexplicable, because this is not something that, I mean, I am saying. A lot of organizations have tried to, and like teacher groups have reached out to NCERT for an answer, and they say, okay, we remove chapters if the topics are irrelevant, if they are being covered or there's an overlap in coverage from other subjects, or there is some like these two are the basic things, and really it's not being covered by either of those things. Periodic table is not included in any other subject that a standard class 10th curriculum has, and why is it irrelevant? Right, like it is, these are very odd choices. What do you think about this?
The the whole thing when it came, a lot of this NCRT thing really became a, maybe calling it an international issue is overstating it, obviously,
Hmm.
but it definitely became much more of an international talking point after an article in Nature.
Yeah.
The article in Nature talked about the removal of evolution and the periodic table from NCRT class 10, as far as I know. From what I have understood, and I may be wrong about this, uh, evolution in the periodic table, the jump theory thing I had not seen, but evolution in the periodic table have been moved to class 12. But that does necessarily mean that, sorry, but that does necessarily mean that it would only then be applicable to science students. It would not, like, because
Yes.
of the separation post in higher secondary. So anyone who goes for for a commerce or arts background or any other non-science background would not be taught this at all, basically. The the historical ones with more political implications are, I mean, obvious. There is the Mughals, obviously. Everybody who have recently become like quite a bit of a political whipping bag. There is obviously the references to Gandhi's assassination. I think that was removed. There were references to
Yeah, it's
2002 that
like,
was
yeah,
removed.
they removed all modern politics, post-independence politics.
I don't think
Uh,
it was all post independence
I think,
because
yeah,
because I think they covered emergency as far as I know.
social science class 10 syllabus update, uh, political sciences. Uh, okay, I guess this is from a student perspective, so they will list. Okay, I think, well, like in the meantime, we are while we are here. Yeah.
One more thing that has been covered added in the sciences is apparently the removal of pollution and climate related topics.
That's true. Yeah, there's so many
And that is a
bizarre
big one.
topics, because
And the thing is,
that was like everybody's favorite subject, because that's not something
everybody
that,
loves EVS
yeah, no,
because
no,
they've
not
got easy marks.
not just EVS, but yeah, this chapter of our science book had been
Mhm.
like everybody's pet subject, because everybody was like, oh, you can't really go wrong in this, because conservation of energy, conservation of water, conservation of like air quality, these things you have been like, getting a lot of messaging since you are a child. A lot of
Yeah.
advertising, a lot of social movements have been there. So you're already aware of a lot of things that you can mention in your answer sheet that may not correspond word to word with your book, but still it can be like, okay, yeah, this is a thing that still applies here,
Yeah.
right?
So,
That was
and
everybody's favorite
I
chapter.
think when it comes to like the modern world, it's obviously relevant.
Yeah,
So, like the one major reason is like a lot of this is not very clear. I think the rationale of NCRT is kind of confusing. Like for a few of these, you could call it like a political hit job. 2002, obviously. The Mughals thing also. The like because the Mughals thing has kind of been like a sort of political bugbear, right?
yeah,
Uh, like you could talk about NCRT and like even the Gandhi assassination. Although I would really love to see the NCRT's justification for removing that, but the science one I think are just weird. Like unless I I know the obvious uh, the obvious idea is that the BJP is going like full creationist, but I mean I don't. My issue is not that I think the BJP is going full creationist. The BJP is that I cannot think of any rationale, and this is the closest one I can think of. But and even then, it doesn't make complete sense. But like, I don't really have another explanation.
the NCRT has not given a rationale really, because like, okay, this is the
Because
explanation.
you said their criteria is either like it may be because if it is difficult, it has overlap, and if content is irrelevant.
Yeah, this is the
But
rationale. This is standard stuff. This is like, oh, this is my
this is a
terms and conditions.
boilerplate, basically. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
like this is just like something they have like put together, and then they just forward it, auto reply it to anybody
yeah,
who asks.
yeah.
But I mean,
Oh yeah, the funniest
the
thing.
periodic table is kind of fundamental to chemistry, right?
Yeah,
And
and it's similarly the theory of evolution is very fundamental. Like, so, because the funny thing that they've done is they've kept the chapter on hereditary, because it used to be hereditary and evolution. That was the
mm,
chapter title,
yeah,
and then they
because
have removed.
people talked about like Mendel and stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So they have kept hereditary, but they have not kept evolution. However, these two subjects are like so like interfused.
Intertwined.
Yeah. So how do you explain that? How do you like the concept of genes? It comes from evolution. The concept that there are genes that transfer from generation to other and then they mutate and things happen, organisms change, evolve. That's the point of head like why we study genes from generation to generation. And
Yeah,
that
yeah. So I guess I these are just weird, and I don't know why, and I don't know, like I can't even speculate. Even if you want to go the spicy route and say the BJP, like with the political ones, it's easy, right? You can say that the BJP doesn't want to teach about like embarrassing incidents, or it doesn't want to teach about, it doesn't want to present Muslims in a good light, or it doesn't want to this thing. With the science one, I just am not sure. Like, is there a push to like not believe in evolution? Like, is I mean
I
I'm
don't
pretty sure you
I
can find a few nut
yeah.
jobs, but like, is the push concerted? If it is, I don't know. Like, I haven't seen any like indication of it. It's
Ye-
like, okay, so what is, so this is, I'm guessing, all of the stuff that
Yeah,
is
this is a very nicely
cut out.
compiled list of, yeah, what exactly they cut from the syllabus. Yeah, so basically, again, to in favor of being fair and balanced trademark, we have to tell that these cuts were from the syllabus, not from textbooks.
Mhm.
So we have class 7 Mughals. Wait, what? And how often, however, after NCERT has been published online, the books lead straight to the history of belief. The book leads straight to the history of British colonialism. The
Wait,
chapter,
from what?
uh, I don't know.
We started. Okay, so so you skip the entire Mughals. Wait.
Talks about
Uh, so you talk about like your Khiljis and Qutbuddins and Turkics, those guys. Um, hmm, okay. In class 9, NCR teaches about the French and Russian revolutions, Nazism, and aspects of world history. In class 10, it's about the emergence of nationalism, the spread of print. What? The spread of printing?
I don't like print media, I guess.
No, no, no. The weird thing. What is this order? The spread. The printing is a 16th century invention. Like, how are you moving through? Like, how are you moving through time? Like, I guess I do. I guess I'm just confused more than anything. Uh, in class 12, there's a chapter on Mughal Empire. This thing. After this rationalization, the only chapter dedicated to Mughal history in higher class titled 9 was removed from class 12.
Yeah, so I think they have very nicely given a summary here. After the NCERT syllabus rationalization, students can study some of the history of Mughals in class 7, a little in class 8, none in class 9
None
to
classes
11,
9 to 11.
and a shorter version in class 12.
Okay, so we have properly. Okay, so when it comes to Mughals, at least, like a lot of it has just been kind of hacked off.
And they're like, oh, they were being repeated. So what does that even mean? Like it's like a long dynasty, and if you're teaching like history era by era, and each like teaching it in chunks. So yeah, because the Mughal like the thing spread quite throughout quite a lot of centuries in Indian history. So why? It's
Mughal
weird
rule
things
has been
happening.
moved from BA honors as well, which is Delhi University, which is not exactly the same, but I mean,
I also like I saw this on Twitter again. I'll not be able to find it at all, but I saw that from somebody's MBA course. It was it's something related to business. I'm assuming MBA, but it was like so they removed some like a theoretical chapter and introduced something like okay, the importance of gurukuls in a modern Indian education context, the importance of integrating with the gurukul culture and all that. But again, that is, I forgot to bookmark it, but like that was also a thing, and it was like I think I'm pretty much sure it was a um, like a public institution, but again, my memory could be wrong.
yeah, this is something I will definitely like. It, this is something I have to like look for because I mean, like searching for it isn't helping. Anyway, I guess. Um, hold on. Mm, whatever. Yeah, okay. It's not it. We definitely.
It's huh?
Yeah, Gurukul MBA isn't helping either.
I know. I am also trying to
Anyway,
search.
anyway,
Yeah.
I think this is something we kind of have to like look at because it's not something I have seen, but
Hmm. But yeah, like it's weird. Like I guess not weird. I guess expected things are happening. Uh, but yeah.
I guess
uh,
obviously the science ones are weird, but the history ones like There is
Yeah,
obviously
they are a
the
bit
straight line
transparent.
is, yeah,
Yeah.
like you have like everybody, like a lot, so much of it is like bitching about Mughals, right? You talk about this thing, you talk about Tipu Sultan in Bangalore, and then um, you talk about how Mughals basically did Hindu genocide on this. Swear to God, I don't know.
Yeah, but I guess to get this topic out, you know, already, we can like segue into. So bitching about Mughals reminds me, of course, of
Mhm.
like I just wanna put like a like a. So what do you put at the end of a like a thing, like a conclusion, like a
Yeah,
sort of
I mean, if you want to put a
finality.
full stop at the end of it,
Yeah,
like,
full stop to the topic of the Kerala
yeah.
story
So this is,
drama.
yeah. I think we will get through the Kerala story relatively quickly.
Yeah.
Uh, because the Kerala story is great content, but like there is a much heavier topic, obviously, that we have to discuss. And for I guess here, I just don't know how much there is to say. Yeah, this is a lot of this is politically motivated. The fact that like evolution is suddenly a science stream exclusive, evolution in the periodic table are a science stream exclusive like branches is not is like it's indicative of something. It's not clear what, but it doesn't seem good.
Yeah, I think we should wait for the picture to resolve a little bit.
Mhm.
However, yeah, these topics, like I would say, I do not, and me including, again, let's look at the Nature article because that goes into a lot of orgs. For example, you have this, um, wait,
Because they've talked to a lot of because nature I guess talked to a lot of people from a lot of institutions. There was this guy from Stanford, there was this person from TISS, there was a few other like
yeah.
groups, a lot of
So, for
uh,
example, more than 4,500 scientists, teachers, and science communicators from the Breakthrough Science Society campaign group based in Kolkata. So they have they have signed a petition. NCRT has ignored that petition completely. Uh, People have reached out to the NCRT for responses, for clarifications. That copy paste forward response that we just saw. And there has been like the one of the main things that this article touches upon is that there is a complete lack of transparency in the case of this curriculum revision. And yeah, I mean, who's Joshi? I'm sorry, I'm very bad with names. What Joshi? Amitabh Joshi, evolutionary biologist at Jawaharlal Center for Advanced Scientific Research in Bangalore. We narrow miss there, not JNU.
no, the JNU one comes later.
Oh yeah,
There's
JNU
the
is
JNU
JNU.
comes later. About three or four paragraphs later, there is a reference to some historian at JNU.
Aditya
Yeah,
Mukherjee, yes.
a historian at dan, da, da,
JNU,
Jawaharlal Nehru University in New Delhi.
JNU,
Respect Delhi.
the
Yeah,
fortress of socialism in India.
yeah, real Marxists.
Yes, the
Say that changes of curriculum are driven by the RSS. Uh, I mean,
yeah,
the
and then
historical
yeah.
changes ones, the historical ones definitely. The
I-
other ones, I mean, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know why they would want to do it, but
here is an interesting part. So in the second, like the very next paragraph, I think this kind of puts it into perspective. There's a movement away from rational thinking against the Enlightenment and Western ideas. Now here is a thing that I know a lot about. A lot of religious people hate the Enlightenment,
mm,
and more so than non-Western religious people, because it's all. It has led to all such nonsense ideas as democracy and secularism
and
and
feminism.
feminism and in a way critical thinking, right? Like critical with a capital C, like a critical
Mm,
theory. It did
okay.
not develop in enlightenment, but that laid the groundwork for what developed into critical theory.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah. So
So I guess a lot of it is just sort of like the kind of like chapri type and reactionary politics, right?
this is like we are like I like the worst case scenario of this is reaching like a Vietnam level of like school curriculum where like literally the entire world's like world view is has been framed as okay, it actually all started in our country, it all actually happened in our country, or
So are we going to get PN oak levels of this thing? Like actually Vatican was called Vatica. Actually
yeah.
Australia was where we stored our weapons and it was called Australia. And all of that.
Astrale, that's a new one. I had not heard. That's a good one.
It's relatively new. I don't think that one is from PN oak specifically. But
Yeah.
Australia has been like a thing for a while now.
I guess. Yeah, but I think this puts it into
Ravan's
perspective. Yeah.
Pushpak Viman was like an actual thing that actually existed. Um, uh, there are at least like 6 to 8 more that I can't immediately think of. Um, I guess I am somewhat intrigued that Vietnam was the like education system that you thought of and not North Korea.
I guess North Korea, it feels like a bit too far gone. Like that. So that is not just education. That is just their entire like populace. Like it's all fully propagandized. But at least in Vietnam, it's like not cut off from the rest of the world. But they still the education system is heavily propagandized to the point where it's like, or it's like framing their existence as the bulwark of socialism, like the you know like one phrase that anyone who goes online into political spaces should be wary of is actually existing socialism, because like 10 out of 10 times, like 100% of the time, they're talking about like some Southeast Asian country like
China,
Vietnam.
China.
Okay,
Let's be
all.
clear. Most of the time it is China.
Yeah,
Actually, when it comes
China or
to
Vietnam,
like
because
with
yeah.
China, no. Actually, existing socialism typically tends to count basically countries which are like call themselves
Yeah,
socialist and or
non-Western
communist.
countries that
China,
have red
China.
in their flag. uh,
Hello, you
yeah,
froze.
yeah, you also froze, but now you're back.
Hello,
Hello,
check, check.
one. Yeah, getting. Yeah, the feed is fine now. Continue what you're saying.
Hello.
Yes, hello.
Yeah. Your video quality has gone down, but like, okay.
Yeah,
Are you? What happened? Is your network okay? Like, what's happening?
I think mine is fine, but I think it. I thought you. I
Is
thought
mine? No, because you froze. Like I.
you froze
Um.
for me as well. I
hmm.
think somebody like my electricity is fine, and uh,
Yeah, same. I. It's not a. It's not a electricity issue.
uh, leftist internet. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it seems fine. So
It's
speed wise,
internet
we're
of the
okay.
people.
Mm.
Discord has been having a lot of issues, but since this opened the floodgates to all their features now, right? So it's like
Mhm.
they're having a lot of load issues.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I think when it comes to actually existing socialism, quote unquote, people just kind of talk about like four major countries, right? China, Vietnam, North Korea, and Cuba.
Yeah. Yeah.
Venezuela sometimes when people
No, no.
really want to.
Venezuela is used as an example of actually existing socialism by right wingers.
No. You'll be surprised how many people are
Oh
like,
my
no.
God, no.
Actually, Venezuela would have been completely fine
No, no,
if
that
not for Western sanctions, which happened after the the Singh, uh, yeah,
the
like
Cuban Missile
there's
Crisis.
hmm?
I don't know
No,
when.
Venezuela. This there is this small documentary on Venezuela that I've seen. A lot of Venezuela's problem is that it has Dutch disease
It has Dutch
primarily.
disease. What's that?
The economy heavily relies on one thing.
Okay. Wait, just a second, but I'll get to that. Shweta, Also, if you follow North Korea curriculum, all the pictures in your background will need to be replaced.
Yeah, sorry, Disco Elysium
God damn.
is
Yeah, oh yeah, Disco Elysium will, they will never.
Disco Elysium is bourgeois propaganda.
Yes, oh my God. Do you know
Stop the
they.
reactionary propaganda from Estonia.
No, no, no. It'll be so weird because like it's made by like when at the time it was a artist cooperative, and like so for them to diss the studio that made Disco Elysium would be extremely funny. But here's the thing: even the game to be allowed to be released in China, what they had to do, because there's a lot of references to like straight up communism in the game.
They did not call it communism, and
Yeah, yeah. So they in the Chinese, like they did not use the Chinese word for communism, but they phonetically changed it. Instead of like using an actual other Chinese word, they made it into a like a gibberish,
okay. So
which had
it was they kind of like Krasma served it.
yeah, yeah. So they it initially just said commie something. So in English, if you read it, it says commie something. But so an
In
English
Chinese,
reader,
it's gibberish. I get
yeah,
it.
it's Chinese. It does not mean anything, and that's how they were able to get that game released in China, which is
Shockingly
an
popular,
accomplishment,
actually.
huh?
Shockingly popular, apparently. They like
Yeah,
because I guess no surprise
it
really.
is. Disco Elysium is like such a very like well nuanced game because like I know like it is a game that offers critiques of leftism that only a leftist can make, which is like constant infighting, constant like in like fracturization of like okay no you are that kind of leftist, I'm this kind of leftist, I'm the right kind of leftist, and you are the wrong kind of leftist.
Factionalism.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Extreme fractionalism, right? Like granular fractionalism, and things like, of course, like accounting for tankies, accounting for people who look at Soviet, like Russia, and things like who was that one guy who was like the theory of evolution is like bourgeoisie
Lysenko.
propaganda.
Lysenko.
Lysenkoism. They have a parody of Lysenkoism in the game as well, and so it is like such it's such fine detail. It cuts so deep.
Andolan
However,
GV game reviews.
huh?
Andolan GV game reviews.
Yeah, yeah, no, yeah, my personal. However, the also welcome Rakuni friend. You were from last time we remember you. He was like the Shekhar Gupta uncle comments. However, with the Disco Elysium, the thing is that even though it is so critical of leftism, at the end or like overall in the broader picture, it does not despise it. What it says is that there's a huge amount of things to improve, and like people should improve, people should like work on improving and making leftism such that we win, and we are not doing that. The ideals of leftism are good, but the people leftists are ruining it, kind of is the thing. So it does
Uh,
not give up
Shweta
on
says, didn't
yeah.
BTS or some Korean pop group do something similar targeting China, but like Winnie the Pooh type usage? I mean, I don't know. I don't
We
think
don't know
so.
about it, but yeah.
We aren't really well, I'm at least not a BTS like
Yeah,
follower
I'm
kind of
not.
guy.
I'm also. Should we become
I
BTS
mean,
army to increase our viewership?
my issue is we might get the problem with quoting the BTS audience is that if you get an opinion wrong, we will get like death threats.
Yeah, it is also an extremely fractionalized community.
Yeah,
Uh,
the solidarity between K-pop and communism.
yeah, that theory needs some time to synthesize. Not yet.
Anyway, I guess we kind of should get into what do we need to get into now?
We
Where
were going to get it segue from bitching about Mughals into Kerala story.
great.
There is a
Anyway,
very
let's go.
yeah,
Uh,
we have like three active
speaking
chatters. I think this is
going
the best
from
time. Huh?
high level art to kachra level art.
Yeah, going from serious discussion of education to high level art. By the way, anybody who's in chat, I see Rakuni friend could not finish Disco Elysium. I don't know what your personal reasons are, but you need to. Okay, you
It's
need to.
definitely worth finishing.
Yes.
I understand it is like a lot. It has a lot of reading, and
Yeah, it's
but
essentially a book.
mm,
Yeah, it's so people are like, oh no, have you read Marx? You can just with a straight face say, I have played Disco Elysium, and that will be a valid response. Okay, you will
That
understand
is,
everything from playing
yes.
Disco Elysium.
When people say read theory, Disco Elysium counts as theory.
Yeah, Shweta is very nicely offering that she'll find the right song on group, and she'll share it with us on Discord. I think, are you from the one of the Discord servers that I promote this show on? Uh, anyway, while you respond, let's talk about
Let's finally get to the high level art movie
yeah,
directed by Sudipto Sen,
Sudipta Sen, of
starring
course,
Ada Sharma, Siddhit Nani, and one more woman whose name I forgot. Uh,
and their
the
respective
Kerala,
yeah,
the Kerala story, not to be
yeah.
confused with the Kashmir files.
Yeah, yeah, similar, very similar naming patterns and agenda, but different movies. So here's the thing, right? I don't, I don't know how much we talked about this earlier. Uh, to discuss the movie, like it's one of those movies to discuss it, you don't need to have watched it because literally nobody is talking about what happens in the movie. Because like even like including people who defend and oppose it, I have watched all videos. Okay, all my opinions now from now on about people talking about Kerala story, they are all bulletproof. I have watched every video about Kerala story.
He's
Okay,
read all theory.
yes, I have read all theory. But so of course, so the thing is, this is something that I wanted to make a short video on, but I guess I'll just talk about it here. So the most popular video on Kerala story, Dhruv Rathi's 16 million view video right now, which allegedly had a better opening than the movie itself. Uh, uh, oh, thanks, Small India Radio Discord. Nice. Shout out to Small India Radio and Bharatiya Janata Podcast. They are also good. Much bigger than us, but yeah,
Cheers,
whatever.
Shweta. Bye.
Yeah,
I hope we see you again.
yeah. However, yeah, talking about Dhruv Rathi's video. Dhruv Rathi just decided, okay, cool, see you later, Shweta. Yeah, so Dhruv Rathi decided that I will, I will murder that 32,000 number. Okay, I will personally form a surgical strike team, and I will like बोल कैसे दिया 32,000 से दीप्त सेन ने. ठीक है, it's like that. So he like the entire 20-minute video was spent on like debunking with source after source, national, international, government, non-government sources, all of it. So what it came down to was that okay. Uh, Wait. So somebody is asking, what do you all think of Maoists? And okay, I don't know who Charuda is. I don't care about Maoists. I don't even know why would you ask that. Like of
Mao
course,
isn't real.
yeah, Mao does not exist. However, like I don't know, do we give the impression that we'll be tolerant of tankies on this podcast?
Um,
Uh,
Ukraine was invaded by Russia. Um, uh, China is not socialist. It is de facto a state-run autocracy.
yeah, it's state
Um,
capitalist. Yeah.
it is state capitalist. North Korea is a monarchy.
Yes.
What else? What I
Vietnam
think Frank
Vietnam is a liberal democracy which calls itself like a socialized market economy or whatever. It's all nonsense. They are just a normal liberal like full like a laissez-faire economy. Okay, so that's
also
yeah,
Venezuela bad. So yeah,
yeah.
so I think all the
Vuvuzela,
tankies
100
have
million
kind of
dead.
gone.
Yeah.
I
Uh,
think all the tankies have gone. Bye.
yes. चारू मजूमदार ग्रैंड ओल्ड डैड ऑफ नक्सलिज्म. चारू दा तो दिल में बसते हैं. भाई प्लीज मीम्स डोंट गेट अस इनटू दोज मीम्स. ओके, या it's they call it mixed, it's full free market. Okay, the mixed part of that mixed free market type is cope. They mix their free market economy with copium. Okay, it's just a free market economy, which is like because if that is like mixed, then like India as a socialized free market economy.
India is frankly much closer to a socialized free market
Yeah,
now. Now I'm not
It,
even talking about like Nehru's Fabian stuff. I'm talking now.
yeah, nonsense. Anyway, wait, chat
Kerala story. Kerala story.
Kerala story, yeah,
Chat, we will slightly ignore you because we are
yeah,
kind
for
of
some time.
we want to get into this topic.
Yeah, yeah. However, we were talking about this, right?
Thirty-two
So,
thousand.
32,000. He's like, okay, 32,000 does not happen. Like, there isn't a pipeline from Kerala to Syria. And it is like those four cases are isolated incidents, and there has never been any substantial proof. It has all been investigated, it has all been looked into. This did not happen. And and at the starting of the video, very in a very based fashion, he just started off the video with the Nazi comparison. He was like, in 1930, Hitler wrote in his autobiography about the big lie. The part that he left out about the big lie was
Bogus,
that
bogus.
he was not talking about, okay, what I am gonna do. He was talking about what the Jews have done, supposedly, to Germany. That was the context in which he was talking about the big lie. And historians in the future have said that, oh, he might have this might have been like a projection, because this was something that they ultimately did with the Nazi propaganda as well. But so that was like that. Okay, so that's the foundation, right? Now people started responding to it, putting Dhruv in their thumbnails, not like without even talking about him much in their videos, and all of those videos, 100% of them within the first 5 minutes admitted that, yeah, 32,000 was a fake number. Yeah, we know that. We don't care. Immediately, there is no. And somebody in the chat was earlier like, oh yeah, Sudipta Sen should be taken to court. He was. And that is the reason why, like, now Kerala story will open with a disclaimer that the 32,000 number has not been substantiated. There is no source for it, right? And
The
yeah,
problem, as far as I know,
yeah,
is even though there is like a big disclaimer on the screen saying that the 32,000 number is, well, fake, the movie still ends with Ada Sharma doing her best Lola Kutti impression,
yeah,
talking about how mere jaise 32,000 girls have like taken to Syria and converted to Islam and then are buried like because of America or I don't know. Like, the I think that is like the big issue because w- this is the kind of situation in which the censor board like you get the rationale for why they do what they do, and in this situation they are worthless. So they are kind of worthless. So I think I think a lot of I think the issue with the Kerala story is obvious. If you a lot of you may have seen a lot of posters, I have seen a lot of posters like outside talking about like free screenings of the Kerala story or
hmm,
subsidized screenings or things like that. And typically they are organized by some like big Hindu Baba type character, like complete, like big dudes with orange clothes and things like that. And I don't know. This is a lot of it just seems like Kashmir Files again, except it's flimsier than Kashmir Files. Uh, because Sudipto Sen is, it just seems like much more of a grifter. Of course, Agnihotri also is a grifter, but he seems more incompetent.
so Dipsa
You
Sen
know,
or
Sudipto
uh,
Sen in this context,
okay.
I know Sen has made like non-crap movies in the past, but
Hmm.
in this context, it just seems lazy in a way that Kashmir Files, for all its flaws, was less so.
I'm just gonna come out and say it. I think they knew they were lying full on. Like, I think this was like a case of in which it is like a complete shameless lying. I don't think even it's like a matter of incompetency. They knew they could get away with
The
it. Yeah,
original, the original 30,000 number, I think I remember because Sen had said that he had gotten the number from Uman Chanday. Uh,
yeah. That
and then
one.
he got it for like he said that he got a number of I think 2,500 to 3,000.
Yeah. But
And I think that number was
it was
something
like
else.
per
And then he
year.
took that number and
Yeah.
multiplied it by 10 for 10.
Yeah. So it was like a figure of per year, and this was in
And this was
2000.
like a total number or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, so he projected it, as you said. The multiplication of 10 was because he projected that number to since then till now. And I think the statement was in 2012. So he was like 2012 to 2022. Every year it must have been the same. So let's multiply it by 10. Which goes against every like
Every statistical
yeah,
rule in history.
yeah, this
Maybe trends are like a Muslim conspiracy.
yeah. Yeah,
Statistics jihad.
yeah, that is the reason why they are not doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the reason why they are not doing census. Counting, the population counting is Islamic propaganda. It's all like nothing. It's all Hindus. It's fine. Uh, Hindu khatre mein. That is the only thing you need to know.
Everybody is a Hindu and also Hindu Khatri. Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, it's the reason why I said, right. So because the beautiful thing was that Varun, no, I keep saying Varun, Dhruv Rathi in his video, the reason why he was talking about the big lie, the way that he said it was that okay, they will do this thing that okay, they will inflate a number to such a degree, and then people will think that okay, maybe even this full number is not true. 10% of it might be true, 1% of it might be true. Okay, and it's not true at all.
Plus you can do the sort of you can do the sort of bullshit moral, not pearl clutching, right?
Hmm.
Like even if you say the number is less and like significantly less, do you not care about this thing? Even one girl going and being converted and dying in Syria is a tragedy. Like, you know,
Yeah, that is
it's
what people did. That was like in his response to response video, uh, which was like, okay, somebody, some like I again, some old uncle was like, देखिए ध्रुव राठी ने कैसे बोल दिया कि सिर्फ 3 ही लड़कियों के साथ ऐसा हुआ है, 3 लड़कियों के साथ ऐसा हुआ है, 3 लड़कियों के साथ एक के साथ भी होना बहुत ज़्यादा है. एंड इट्स लाइक okay, so the how Dhruv Rathi responded to it was that okay, when I said only, I meant only as compared to 32,000. I don't think this is this is an insignificant thing. Okay, which is at his size, of course, that is what he'll say.
and obviously he has to, because you cannot like you will have people always like bitching at you about how you think three girls getting three girls getting converted and groomed essentially into ISIS is a good thing, because
Yeah, yeah.
but
No.
like
The
I mean
reason,
I would say
yeah,
it is
yeah.
it's just this sort of thing, right? Like where you say that where you that is the kind of thing you do when like you don't have a point.
Yeah,
uh,
but that's the thing. The people who quote unquote responded to Dhruv Rathi's Kerala story video did
mhm.
like the exact thing that he said these people will do, or that the movie is doing. So within the first 5 minutes, they're like, okay, yeah, this number is made up, but ऐसा तो है नहीं कि हो नहीं रहा. As like this, so they're doing the exact thing that okay, maybe this 32,000 is too much, but maybe 10% of it is true, maybe 1% of it is true. Even even that is a big number, right? And it's like, and it's all again the reason why this was a segue to this topic is because if you watch long enough, it was never about that just about this thing, right? Because what is their issue? Their issue is not really conversion. Their issue is the existence of Muslim people at all. And because all of their videos are like concluded with look at how bad these people are in all those other countries, look at all throughout history how many bad things they have done, right? And even people like people who are more level headed, quote unquote level headed, kind of giving the response, because there is another guy called something Sham Kumar, I
Sham
think.
Sharma. Sham Sharma?
No, not Sham Sharma. It's Sham something,
Kumar
like
Sham.
Kumar Shyam, I think. Uh, you might know his name.
I'm aware of Kumar Sham, yeah.
Yeah, so he made like this very, yeah, Kumar Shyam, that he was like, okay, I am going to ask a very sensible question. That, like, even in your video, you're saying it only happened with 3 people. That disproves your point that this is not a problem. That was like he thought he did something there, because in this because when of course Durvati did not respond to his video because his channel is like not big enough. He like made another video that why did you not answer my questions.
He celebrated defeat, argumentum and unpopularity.
Yes. So he made another videos like why, okay, how can you say that only the popular videos have good points? Why did you not respond to my questions? I am again asking those questions. He was so proud of this question. He was like, you know, in your own video you admitted this happened with 4 people. Why is this not a problem? So what do you do at this point? What is
Just
left?
it's I don't know. I just feel like people, when people say something like this, it is bad faith. I don't know. Like nobody, there are far more than, like, there are a lot of crimes which happen much more often and involve Muslim victims, and nobody says that they are irrelevant because and because there are only, and a lot of time people do say they are irrelevant because there are only, like, say 15,000 of them. I think I think I think a lot of times you kind of, I think something like this is definitely bad faith. You cannot argue that four cases in one over a billion, 4 cases in over a billion people is substantial pattern. When you're talking about governance, like, yes, each case is a tragedy, but I mean, 4 cases is not a societal level problem.
Yeah, and this is something that again, like I can't believe I am defending Dorati so much, but this is he did a good thing here, because again at the end he was like, okay, we have to understand, we have to give women agency, and these women might just be bad people. Have we considered that?
Yeah, and that's fine. That happens. That what happens when you live in a society that allows for some, at least some degree of free will. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess the issue is, what do you do? Like that. I think that is a question that a lot of that people should be asked. This is a problem that has affected approximately 4 people.
Yeah. Uh,
What will you do that will not cause that will not cause problems, either first order, second order, even third order,
mhm.
to to a number that is tens, if not hundreds of thousands, that times that number.
Yeah. They don't consider
Like you
that
might
a
argue
bad
that
thing.
this is
Yeah.
ghoul behavior, quote unquote, but, like, I mean, you cannot make policy based on 4 people.
Yeah, and so like, yeah, of course, and that is really a question to ask, that okay, what do you, if you identify this as a problem, you're like, okay, even 4 things is a problem.
Like, आपका
What is your,
solution क्या है?
yeah, what is your policy prescription now? What should be done? You would want everybody in India to be aware of it. What do you expect to happen? What do you expect the people to do about it? Because people who are coming out after watching this movie are like, हम जो करेंगे ना इसको देखने के बाद वो न्यूज़ में आ जाएगा, राइट, लाइक वेरी वेरी क्लियरली threatening violence, right? And it's like, so of course you are not stupid people, you know what you are doing. It's like, it's not, you don't want to, you're not so much aiming for a systemic solution, because here is another thing. When you highlight such big crime problems with the Muslim community, you have to understand, crime is a problem for the Muslim community itself as well. So what, everything that you're talking about, mistreatment of women, on abuse and all, like all such things, according to you, human trafficking is prescribed in their religion, according to you, right? It's like, first of all, like, if that is not how the world works, people don't commit crime for religious reasons, like not
I mean,
not
people do commit crimes for religious reasons, but, like, the vast majority of, like, driving factors tend to be, no, like, non-religious, or at least not completely
or
religious.
at least when we talk about organized crime, when people organizing like entire like networks, rings of crime, of things like drugs, trafficking, human trafficking, extortion, all these things. These are not like, oh, we are doing it in the name of whatever called, right? It's like most like they might pretend, but it's mostly the what is driving them is the same base human emotions, greed and sometimes like bad circumstances that they have grown up in, right? And so, but essentially, the thing is like, okay, do you want things to resolve or do you just want Muslims gone? Because what you're doing is not talking about any constructive solutions at all. Even if you say that we refuse to not consider this a problem, what is your solution, right?
Yeah,
Because
because again, you have to remember, you have to, and when you talk about systemic solutions, you have to always remember scale.
yeah,
You,
yeah,
whatever systemic solution you push is going to have impacts. First order impacts, second order impacts, third order impacts. Like, and that is going to affect a vast number of people. Are you okay with it affecting vast numbers of people for a circumstance that has affected four people? If
that's
yes,
yeah.
I am skeptical of your belief that of the reasons why you want that action.
Yep. They don't want a policy action. They want people to rise up. They want like full on the same level of community. They like what happened in 1991 Ayodhya is like their wet dreams. They want a return to that. Yeah, early 90s. Basically, this Babri Masjid demolition. Uh, can you link an article we can go over? So Sushri Sharma in our chat really wants us to talk about the this.
We really want to, we really thought about going through the train thing. The issue is there is not a lot of news that's happening, and a lot of news is going to be a lot of news is going to come like slowly. For something like right now, there are, from what I can see, there are at least two stories and two stories, both of which conflict. One is from a minister, one is from an Odisha minister, and one is from a central government interview. I think like someone from the railway ministry had given to PTI, and this and the stories seem to conflict. Right now, I think what we kind of want to do is we don't want to wait too long, but we do want to get a clearer picture when it comes to this. But like obviously, there are a few things we can talk about even now because we are talking about Aishwani Vaishnav has not, I mean, resigned, but
Yeah, essentially what we're trying to say, right,
like uh,
Sushrit, is that we are not really a news portal. We are a opinion portal, and to have like solid opinion on anything, we need to wait for like all the like everything to come out. Because right now, of course, like since the last couple of days, I am seeing a lot of coverage of this from the perspective of this being a yeah, exactly. Ayush Kumar has hit the nail right on the head that it is too much sensationalization. And right now it's all like, okay, this was all a government's fault. A government did not fill railway jobs. Government did not listen to some recommendations from the CAG reports and this and that. There's a lot of things which, like in my opinion, don't have a like one-to-one connection to what happened. So that is like something that in such scenarios, like if it had been immediately discovered that okay, like for example with the case of the Norfolk sudden crash, North Norfolk, what was it? Ah,
the East Palestine thing.
yeah, the East Palestine US train derailment, where it was
Yeah,
like, okay, immediately it was like, okay, the brakes, it was a case of bad brake systems. And like also the case of them not having like proper, like having very lax rules for transporting toxic materials, which they should not have been doing with such a populated area. Or if they were doing, they should have had like a very heavy level of security for this. But right now here in this story, that is the reason why if you have like a solid article which has a comprehensive analysis of the situation so far, we can go over it live right now. or we can just
I guess,
yeah.
but this is definitely something that we will cover. It's just we want to get a fuller picture, and I don't feel, and I think it's kind of too close for us
Yeah,
to have
it feels a
have
bit.
a full picture.
It feels a bit because again, as I said, we are
We
an
don't want to
opinion.
have we
Yeah.
don't want to draw conclusions which will kind of be like premature,
Yes.
because
Yeah.
because so much information can come out which which is probably not like completely like 180-degree turn, but it's it's just difficult to tell, right?
There's always nuances. There's always, like, if you want to say something is somebody's fault, somebody did not pay attention to it. If you want to say in general Indian railways is in a really bad shape, yes, it has always been forever and ever. Indian railways has sucked all their maintenance, all their upkeep. Of course there are jobs which have not been filled. It is under budgeted, it's mismanaged, yes, that all is true, we all know that. What would really interest me in talking about it would be specific things that led to this directly, rather than in general Indian railways is in a bad shape, which it is. Yes, it is always been.
I think I think we go to the big boy now.
However, no, no, no. Wait. Somebody brought up like Sushri Sharma to compensate for ignoring one of your suggestions. We'll take your another suggestion, which is Sengol story. Uh,
Okay. Rajiv, remember Rajiv Malhotra from last time? He must have had a good night. Spank material for hours.
yeah. Hold on. I think I linked an article to you about this, right? Uh, wait. Did I?
You had linked a
Oh yeah,
video
I
of some.
linked a video
No,
with a
it was
timestamp.
Akash Banerjee's video you had linked.
Yeah, with a timestamp. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So we can watch a little bit of that. Uh, Yeah, Vande Mataram sucks, by the way. Vande Mataram is like a marginal improvement over uh, this thing.
Vande Bharat है जी नहीं है.
Yeah, Vande Bharat. I'm sorry. No, wait, not this.
Vande Mataram sucks. Clipped and shit.
Wait, why is it showing? I'm sorry, just a second. Technical problems. No, why are you look? Why are you showing the chat window? Okay, window capture. Okay, yeah, now it's showing. Wait, do you can't see? I'll have to
I can't
share
see
again.
it.
I accidentally closed my window. Yeah. Uh,
Turn
wait,
the audio
audio.
on your
Yeah.
YouTube.
लेकिन ये एपिसोड वीर सावरकर पर भी नहीं है। सबसे ज्यादा बातचीत हुई सेंगोल को लेकर। वो राजदंड जो कि प्राइम मिनिस्टर मोदी के हाथ थमाया गया, तमिलनाडु से अलग अलग मठों से आए जो प्रीस्ट थे, उन्होंने एक पूरा सेरेमनी किया। अब हिस्टोरियंस और विपक्ष का यह कहना है कि बेसिकली सेंगोल का फंडा है डिवाइन राइट टू रूल। उससे आता है कि राजा के ऊपर देवी देवताओं का हाथ, आशीर्वाद बना रहे। कोई ताज्जुब की बात नहीं है कि जो अपने आप को जिल्ले इलाही समझता है तो वो सेंगोल को पकड़ने में बहुत मौज आता है, बहुत शौक लगेगा उसको।
Okay. Wait a second, guys. Yes, immediate cancellation. You're right. You're right, Raguni. Uh, I will never recover from this. My career will never recover from this. However, where did Arcane go in the middle of this juicy clip? Well, I guess he has something to do at home. Did he message me? Oh, the video is frozen. That usually resolves itself in a second.
Back.
Yes, just a second. Oh, you're back. Finally. Okay, sorry for that. I guess Discord is showing like 1 bar for me, so I guess it's my internet's issue, which is very surprising because I pay a lot for this internet. But it's fine now.
Bangalore internet Singapore.
Yes. Anyway, let's rewind a little bit.
Okay, we can just see the thing there.
Yeah.
दूर का कोई रिश्ता नहीं है, लेकिन ये एपिसोड वीर सावरकर पर भी नहीं है। सबसे ज्यादा बातचीत हुई सेंगोल को लेकर, वो राजदंड जो कि प्राइम मिनिस्टर मोदी के हाथ थमाया गया था।
Oh, I'm so sorry. I forgot to share it with you. Yes.
Sorry guys, technical locha is kind of going over everyone now.
Yes.
I can see the screen. I can't see you, but let's go.
Okay. Can you see the video now?
I can see the screen.
Yeah. Do you not see my video? Oh, let me.
I cannot see you.
Let me turn on my video as well.
Now I can see you.
Yeah. Okay. Let's
Welcome back.
Yes.
किसी से तो दूर दूर का कोई रिश्ता नहीं है, लेकिन ये एपिसोड वीर सावरकर पर भी नहीं है। सबसे ज्यादा बातचीत हुई सेंगोल को लेकर, वो राजदंड जो कि प्राइम मिनिस्टर मोदी के हाथ थमाया गया। तमिलनाडु से अलग अलग मठों से आए जो प्रीस्ट थे, उन्होंने एक पूरा सेरेमनी किया। अब हिस्टोरियंस और विपक्ष का यह कहना है कि बेसिकली सेंगोल का फंडा है डिवाइन राइट टू रूल। उससे आता है कि राजा के ऊपर देवी देवताओं का हाथ, आशीर्वाद बना रहे। कोई ताज्जुब की बात नहीं है कि जो अपने आप को जिल्ले इलाही समझता है तो वो सेंगोल को पकड़ने में बहुत मौज आता है, बहुत शौक लगेगा उसको।
The reason why we really wanted, I saw this video and I immediately linked it to Arcane. Because I was like, dude, we were talking about this in our last episode. We were
literally last episode. We were talking about well-spoken man Rajiv Malhotra.
Yeah, that's the most that can be said about his credentials.
No. The a very articulate man was that Chavda guy. This guy at least is like an actual has done something in life. It's not a lot of it is good, but
Yeah.
hey.
But
So,
we were talking about
literally
how-
last at that
yeah.
time, that guy had made had on in a podcast with Beer Biceps,
Yeah.
the Ranveer Alabad,
Yeah.
obviously today known as Ranveer Prayagraj, is that India should be a democracy is bad for India because one, it is not a Vedic system. Two, autocracies are everywhere in business and sports. Three, what the ideal solution is how kings used to be noble kings and good kings, and what Modi needs to do is one weird trick himself into a sort of Assadist presidency.
Yeah, so listen, guys, we made a big oopsie. We decided on running the country on democracy, even though it was not described in the Vedas and all our Shastras. So, like now, like it'll take a very long time to undo all that Western propagandization about democracy, because again, one of like he also framed this as a anti-Western hegemonic thing where it's like,
No,
you know.
what he specifically said that it is not a Vedic system.
Yeah, no, no, but he also explicitly said, yeah, yeah, I remember his exact, like, kind of his exact words for that. Oh, India had been enslaved for 1200 years, and it
Okay.
is to unenslave our mindsets. We need a hundred
We,
year
we need a 100-year rule
monarchy.
of,
Yeah,
yeah, because apparently all monarchies are situations where people are ruled by good kings and noble kings and just kings.
yeah, exactly, Rakuri. This was his exact thing. All democracies hate this one simple trick.
And the thing is, I guess, like, it is too easy to like not it is too hard to not talk about this, especially when you have like when the new parliament building opens, there is like a whole like symbol which is kind of like a scepter,
Mhm.
and the idea of that is it communicates the divine right to rule. And frankly, it was like, yeah, Rajiv Malhotra has jerk off material for days now.
Yeah, so because the Singol, as we heard,
All Modi needs to do is, you know, one weird trick his way out and become Indian president, and then just like stay president. Like, you know,
yeah, I
Assad style.
yeah, yeah. But see, Modi is a very secular president. That is the reason why. Wait, I am looking for just this one top-down photo of the Lok Sabha floor, New Indian Parliament Lok Sabha floor.
It's
Please,
the same.
please show me one. Oh yes, here it is. Uh, very low res. Okay, please give me a better. Okay, I guess this will do. Hold on. Open in a new tab. Yeah, so that is the reason why he has covered the entire parliament floor in Pakistan green.
Maulana Modi
Yes.
strikes again.
See, he has respect for all religions. It was so weird. Like I don't know. Like this, on one hand, they're like, oh, look, like they're not. Are they trying or are they not trying? Because are they, on one hand, like I had heard news that okay, we should not focus so much on these culture war issues and like boycotting movies and promoting certain movies in their party meet like all hands meeting, kind of, and then it's like okay, yeah, here's a tableau of Kashmir in the 26th January parade, where it's just the Kedarnath temple, and then and then oh yeah, new Indian Parliament building has opened up, and it's just rows upon rows, scores upon scores of these pundits from all over the world, all over India, I guess. But like yeah, and then we are doing all this Rajabhishek and all that. Like, what's happening? what what even is this? It's like it's just a new building, right? It's not an inauguration of a new political office or like a new like
No, even if I don't mind having like a ceremony for the new building, but the whole Sengol thing does kind of set off red flags in my head, because when you have something like that, it like when you have something with that kind of symbolism, I don't know, it just feels
yeah, and
like something.
their cope is like, oh no, this is a symbol of transfer of power. Transfer of power to whom and from whom? What transfer of power? Like, what are you
Yeah,
talking
because
about?
as famously stated in that Monty Python movie, like you cannot have random goddesses throwing Sengols at prime ministers.
Yeah, like if you do like a thing, like you are like, oh, this is the National Lok Sabha, right? And it's all just these like Hindu priests. that you're like inviting, especially to sort of to like bless this place. This is very weird. And like,
It's very weird. That there look like what seem to be about 2 dozen, maybe slightly less than 2 dozen, maybe 20 something.
yeah,
And like, I mean, I don't know. This just seems like a power move, kind of,
yeah,
like I don't know. Like if I wanted to be like super this thing, in super not inflammatory, like alarmist, you could argue that Modi accepting a sign of divine right to rule is an idea is that he will not let go of power because
yeah,
as per the previously discussed Ram theory of Indian politics. Oh, oh God, hello.
yeah.
Oh, thank God.
No, I was just focusing on this article. What does this say?
Mm.
Because we
As we
can.
had discussed in the Ram theory of Indian politics, the idea is now that Ram is in power, can't have Ram get out of power. So,
Yeah, Ram Rajya is threatened by democracy is the
mm,
narrative.
so
And but like I get like that even the right wing is like divided. What some are like, yeah, this is Ram, this is it. But some are like,
Maulana
uh,
Modi.
yeah, Maulana Muradi. Like it all, like we have talked about like Islamophobia in India about like a lot on our channel, and ultimately it is the sort of what is really upsetting or what is really weird is that a lot of people are in denial, and a lot of people are like this baselessly in denial about these things, and it is very fringe ideas are like creeping towards the center, toward like the, or rather we would say like the Overton window is shifting every year more to the right, and it eventually this is not like a good like sort of thing, like a hegemony of any one group is not like good for any other thing, no matter how many narratives they try to spin that okay, it is the best thing for minorities in India is that to live under Hindu Rashtra. That is like definitionally in not a good thing. And a lot of people like this has become like a very common sense position that like at least blind support of Modi has become more of like a common sense solution, that it's like because because I watched another print video regarding like the Lok Niti surveys regarding like what people's attitudes are about different political parties right now, and one thing that I remember quite a bit is that a lot of the people's opinions on the BJP have not changed. So if they have not like reduced, they have not increased either. However, a lot of people's opinion on Modi have like improved and
Improve
improved. Yes,
relative to
like relative to other candidates, like for example Rahul
no no
Gandhi.
no no no. Like is it improved like compared to like a few years ago when compared to 2014 to compared to 2019
Yes,
when
so that the three comparisons is 14, 19, and 22. And I might be able to find that video. Just yeah, I was watching Video Game Donkey. Uh, if I just search by the print videos that I watched, would it? Mm, oh yeah, this survey. So I don't know how much legal to.
hey, Shekhar Uncle is back.
Yes. But it's okay. It's I anyway. This is like a really good video that you can go over. But the thing is that a lot of this thing has been that if I am able to find that particular moment,
Wait, I'm sorry. What?
huh?
Um, Maintaining religious harmony is a number that is somehow above 20%. Has
Uh,
done a like has the Narendra Modi central government done a good job? I mean, apparently, slightly under 40% of people believe that he has done a good job with regards maintaining religious harmony.
yeah, it's like a full. I would not. I had not. I was not planning to bring up this video. There's like a full report. I should be able to. Yeah, it's like basically showing that there is stagnation. For example, in if Lok Sabha elections are held tomorrow, which party would you vote for? Its Congress has slightly increased.
The Congress
Uh,
has jumped,
yeah, it has
like
jumped,
properly jumped.
and
It's still under the BJP, but
yeah, that's
I
what
don't
that's his
know.
point was that there is a stagnation. From 2019, 14 to 19, there was a big jump for the BJP. But however, 14 to sorry 19 to
19 to
23,
23.
there is very slight increase. However, if we compare this with, I think with the candidate level survey. Hold on, I think
Mhm.
it's here. No, wait, not this. Oh, okay, this is like a very extensive survey. I don't think I'll be able to find it live. But yeah, in any case, like my point was that people are less about BJP so much as they are now about like a cult of following around Modi has formed. So, which that's never a good sign for a country, is my opinion. Uh,
I,
Now, do we
I think,
which topic?
I think we go. I think because that is something we really do need to discuss.
Sure. Uh,
And I think with segues, it kind of does segue well. We start from a point where we discuss like the problems of majoritarian control, and we get to a situation which is kind of conflagrated, you know,
mhm.
in circumstances related somewhat to majority control.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to introduce the topic?
Manipur has been in Manipur has been in a bad situation for the last weeks. What kind of what like there have been like people have died, people have been grievously injured. There's been large scale property damage. Uh, Temples have been burned down, churches have been burned down. Um, um, Several national level athletes from the state have said that if the government does not resolve this, they will no longer participate for India in any kind of like sporting competitions. And frankly, given that that is the most recognizable thing that a lot of Manipur is, recognized for
Mm-hmm.
in what can loosely be called mainstream India.
Mm-hmm.
That is frankly probably one of the bigger things they can do. Um, Several BJP, uh, the the closest thing to a rough outline that I have been able to find is this is ethnic conflict. There is like you have the Métis and the Cookies.
Yeah.
Uh, I do not if I'm getting the pronunciation wrong, I apologize. I have not really been able I apologize. It's not been clear to me. Uh, the Métis are from about 58% of the population of the state. They stay in what is called the Imphal Valley, and Imphal, the capital of Manipur, and so obviously because of the nature of urban agglomeration, uh, like a lot of investment kind of goes there and not into the tribal areas. The
Mm.
tribal areas are only inhabited by the cookies, uh, and uh, and this is by law. So like
Mm.
cookies can stay in the Imphal Valley, but Meiteis cannot stay in the tribal areas. So what has happened is there has been a lot of uh, immigration related worries. People have been talking about immigrants coming in from Manipur borders, Myanmar. So there has been a lot. So there has been a lot of talk about the government, central government, and the state government.
Mm.
This is a BJP state government,
Yeah.
has been talking about removing illegal immigrants from Myanmar.
Mm.
When we talk about illegal immigrants from Myanmar, the obvious first choice people you think of are
The
what's
tribals.
no, 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 no. Well, tribals, yes, but like immigrants
Cookies.
from when you talk about immigrants from Myanmar, you talk about Muslim immigrants from Myanmar. Oh God, their names. It's
Rohingya.
Rohingya.
Yeah.
Rohingya.
Rohingya Muslims.
Uh,
Yeah.
like that is obviously like a major talking point. But also a lot of tribals are being harassed in because of these anti-immigrant quote unquote
Mm.
like movement. So the idea is that the cookies and the tribals in general believe that this is a sort of Meitei show of power
Mm.
because the Meiteis are trying to stop, are trying to just sort of uh, colonize in the word, but
Mm.
like just extend their power into the tribal areas.
Yeah.
And then what had so many cookies kind of started a movement, a protest march against displacement and things like displacement
Encroachment of
and
tribal land in the name of reserve forests, protected forests, and wildlife sanctuary.
yeah,
Yeah.
like, and these are all areas where the cookies are the only people allowed to stay by national law.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the general idea seems to be that it is a sort of ethnic conflict. It is kind of complicated by the fact that cookies are significantly Christian and Meiteis are significantly Hindu. Not 100%, but like a majority.
Mostly Hindu. Yeah. And even right now, what has happened in very plain terms is a mutual ethnic cleansing between the valley and the hills. And right now, and this has been going on for about 3 months actually. It has really escalated
A few
about
weeks ago, I
a few
think.
weeks ago. Yeah, because I had been watching like one of the videos which covering it from May 21st, and I was recently watching an interview of a survivor from the riots and like full on like murder on the streets that's happening, and who had settled in Delhi, and she told that she escaped on May 5. So it was like at its peak at during May 5 as well.
Yeah,
And
so this was
yeah,
about a month ago,
yeah.
almost exactly a month ago.
And there has been always like, so this sort of course, it's not justified, but it has always been kind of an open secret that the state government as well as like all the like the for example the central government forces that have been sent there has been heavy militarization in the some of the areas, because this northeast has been a very volatile region throughout India's history, and there has been a lot of insurgencies that have happened there.
Yeah,
um,
because like obviously when people think of AFSPA, people think of Kashmir, but the more direct example is the Northeast because that is where like AFSPA has significantly been like applied before Kashmir, and like when it came to and to the extent that AFSPA had gotten such a terrible reputation, there had been like people may be familiar with Irom Sharmila, and
Yeah.
pe- and there was this very famous protest where I think it was in Nagaland or Assam. I'm not sure, where women, I think, women protested in front of the lower
Yeah,
assembly. I
yeah, oh
think
yeah,
they were
yeah,
naked
yeah, yeah, yeah.
because they were protesting rapes by Indian army people.
Yeah, there had been a case of a missing slash murdered woman from the cookie community, which had gone
Was this in
completely.
Manipur itself?
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah. It was this was
okay,
Manipur
yeah,
only, and the
right.
case had gone completely investigated
Mm,
by the forces there, and
mm.
so it was very heavily suspected that the
The
like the
perpetrator was an army person.
yeah, the armed forces were involved, and so yeah, so this in fact there has always also been this thing that okay, the local the for example the local armed forces also take a chunk of like all the budget that is allotted for the tribal development, and that has always been like the case, like an open secret kind of a situation. And yeah, so the anti Metis sentiments had
Mhm.
been really really high, however not unfounded, however still disproportionately responded to in a way, which again led to a counter response. And right now it is like the situation is that outside of like refugee camps, people from either community, like in Imphal, any people, non-Methi people, and in the hilly areas, any Methi people cannot be found because they have been like driven off or murdered like in broad daylight. Which and of course, like one thing that I remember from the coverage of this was that like people would very much gravitate towards this like conspiratorial thinking that okay, this is all part of the broader sort of Hindu nationalist drive towards like of the central government right now, and even the state government, because that is also BJP. But now the thing that like okay, some balanced opinions are like okay, let's not ascribe to conspiracy what can be ascribed to incompetence.
It's
And
not even incompetence, it's just a different cause, I think.
y-
Because, like,
hmm.
obviously, like, there is a religious factor, but the religious factor is subordinate to the ethnic factor. I think this is much closer to. I know I know it's a lazy example, but like the Balkans is probably a very close example. Although even the Balkans was much more like religiously tied because of stuff like Bosnia.
And yeah, because this is even more like the comparison even more prescient, because that is the demands of the cookie community right now, because like 10 of the MLAs have formed.
Yeah, and notably 10 MLAs, especially notably 8 of them BJP MLAs,
Yes.
have said that the BJP is kind of fanning the flames, and like obviously the is kind of fanning the flames when it comes to a lot of this violence. And I think they said that if like they would like resign their duties or something like that,
No,
or
they
like
are like in. I don't think they are officially doing it, but they are pushing for another fragmentation of Manipur, a new state for the hill tribes. The hill tribe sounds such a bad word, like the tribes, the tribal people. But that is like unprecedented, like group of people, majority of which are like part of the sitting party in the state government, requesting a new state, like from away from the current one. So again, so your balkanization example is like even more. It makes more sense because
Wait,
that is
when
what
they
they are
say they
pushing
want a
for.
new state, do they mean a state as in like a state
No, I don't
within the
think.
Union of India, or do they mean a state like,
I think they can't, like being MLAs. I don't think they are planning for secession. That's not because if
okay,
they're
so they're
planning,
talking
yeah,
like a state within India?
Yeah, yes, an
Because
Indian.
if they are talking about a state, then this is going to get a whole lot fucking bloodier.
Yeah, and but that's the thing. The reason I said the MLAs might not be pushing for it, but there is an extreme sentiment among the people, the on the ground people, to have like, because according to them, in Manipur secession to, not secession but accession. What do you call it?
A session,
Accession.
yeah.
Yeah, accession to India itself was a mistake, and they
Yeah,
would.
that's actually not an uncommon sentiment in a lot of parts of like Northeast India, especially. I mean, there is the obvious guys, right? Like Nagas, typically.
Hmm.
Those guys have been a lot of Nagas have been pushing for independence from India for decades now.
Yep. The this whole even like that's where the people these terms. I guess that's where the Naxalites are, right?
No.
The,
Naxalites were in Bengal.
Bengal. Oh, okay. Yeah,
Those
that's.
are Maoists. Those are separate.
Oh,
The
yeah.
there is like there are like uh, accusations that a lot of these guys are related to China, but beyond that, they don't really seem China kind of stuff. Like they don't really seem ideological. They just
I was
seem
looking
just
into the history. Some of the insurgent groups have definitely been helped from or requested help from China in the past, and like a lot of them under the
yeah.
guise of
I
like.
think obviously most of it will be geopolitical rather than like ideological, because China is right there. But I guess it's just I don't know. It's just so a lot of it just feels like a lot, right? Because you don't know, like obviously there is like some talk of secession, and I assume a lot of it will become more popular now. People talk about. I guess I guess when people talk about an excessive amount of money has been given to the Métis. Because I mean, there is the obvious reason for it is Métis live in the city. Cities
Hmm.
tend to get more money because you know. But because of that, like I guess, but I don't know what you can really do about that. But like, yeah, I guess any kind of movement for like a state, like an independent state from India would be just like it would just get more bloody, really.
Yeah, and I guess like because one of the things that experts have, national security experts, for example, have pointed out
Mm.
is that like Indian government has not really ever tried to do like a proper institution building kind of a thing there. It has always been like this sort of manipulating the ethnic dynamics against each other, playing it off of like a appeasement game with each other, but not rather because like in a very small capsule, this is like that encapsulate like a problem with Indian democracy as a whole, or even right now, that a lot of it is like, people don't consider, people in Manipur is to an extreme degree don't consider themselves to be the part of the same like state or even the same nation. They don't. There is no camaraderie there, and there has never been an attempt to kind of reconcile differences at a cultural level, or at
Yeah, the closest thing to I guess to be fair, that is kind of a thing that shows up whenever it comes to any kind of people who are not quote unquote mainstream Indians, right?
mainstream
Like
Indians. Okay.
yeah, like you talk people outside metros, you talk people outside maybe not even metros, but like outside North India,
Hmm.
some parts of South India, with and like not the Northeast in just gets like ignored so often, and where like with exceptions, but like how often do you see a Manipuri in mainstream culture, mainstream media?
Yeah, the sports
You have to
during like
like
major
outside
sporting events.
sports, because
Yeah.
during sporting events you talk about, I mean, the most famous Manipuri in this country is probably Mary Kom,
Yeah.
and like yeah, Mary Kom, but how many how many people are even there? Nobody shows up in nobody shows up in Bollywood. Nobody shows up in any. I don't think any kind of mainstream media outside that region really, and like, and that has consequences for national integration. You know,
Yeah, it is a mutual feeling of like we don't care about you. It's like, yeah, like
it
okay.
also hadn't helped that. I mean, there was obviously some level of. I mean, I don't know how prevalent it was. Maybe I don't know if it was statistically relevant, but
Hmm.
from like I don't know. Maybe this is just this thing, but like I remember during COVID, a lot of Northeast Indians faced a lot of harassment because they were called Chinese.
Oh my God, yes. Oh God, yeah, yeah,
Like back then, like this was around February 2020,
yeah.
pre lockdowns. But like there were quite a few like articles about how Northeast Indians were like spat at and called Chinese and called traitors and all of that stuff. And
Yeah, because
I
okay, like
assume
anti-northeastern racism is like just it's like part of the vernacular in areas like Delhi. There it's like, of course people know, people watching, if you have been to Delhi or lived in Delhi, you know that there are like people just throw around slurs for northeastern people without a pause. They don't even consider that a bad thing. They don't even consider like uh, the most tame example is the like there's the shabji jokes, like
the Shabji jokes, I think, typically are for like Gurkhas, like Nepali Gurkhas.
they, do you think they know the difference? That does not get,
That is
yeah,
also true
they are not applied like because
because
for
that is
them,
like the stereotype, right? Nepali Gurkhas are security guards in buildings.
yeah. And oh, momos vendors are all all there, which is like so unfortunate because like one of the most culturally rich areas in Delhi is a place called, I might have talked about it, it's a place called Majnu Ka Tila. And yeah, of course, Ayush Kumar is right. They get slurs for every. They got every slurs for every group of people in Delhi. But it's a place called Majnu Ka Tila. It's in like cool kids call it MKT. So what it is, it's like a settler colony. It's purely a settler colony from northeastern parts of India, and
Settler colony makes it sound
oh,
like
okay, not colonial wali colony. Oh God, a settler
it's
community, a refugee community. Okay, but
expatriate is a better word. They're
I
not
guess
typically like refugee communities typically is like the
like
Tibetans who are staying in like Himachal Pradesh.
a lot of these other a lot of the people in the area that I'm talking about are Tibetans as well.
Like
And
like
yeah,
they're like Tibetans, northeastern guys, Gurkhas, I
yeah.
think also. uh,
So because it's like a really cool place, because it has like a Buddhist monastery in the middle, like it's like the central square of that place. Because what it is essentially a very dense market. And it's at the heart of that market is a Buddhist monastery, and the food that you cannot find anywhere else in Delhi, which a lot of Tibetan, Nepali, like, and even if you want like authentic Korean cuisine, it's like all there. It's like a very cool place to hang out at. And it's like what's all the shop vendors shop like, it's all people, northeastern people. I guess it started out like as like a Tibetan refugee thing, which has grown
like
into
a
a broader
settler.
northeastern community.
Right,
Because
right,
not all people were there, and it was not all Tibetan cuisine either. It was
right.
a general mix of all northeastern cuisine. And yeah, but then it's like when you go in the heart of Delhi, you go to some of the more like
Only localities like your Rajit Chowks, your those areas.
Pala, Muttunagar, and all those areas. And it's like, oh my God, it's like off the charts, the level of racism against those people. So, of course, it was like when that happened during COVID, like, of course, internationally, we would see things like a rise in hate crimes against Chinese people in
Mm,
America, right?
mm,
Of course, that would have, that that translated in India to like an increased anti, like, because of course, let's not beat around the bush. It's like based on their looks.
Yeah,
Anybody
because
who looks,
people think they were Chinese, and then like they kind of apply all Chinese related slurs and things like that to Northeast Indians.
this can even affect in subtle ways. Like, imagine how many, like, for example, the poorer people, how many of them could not get like a house help kind of a position, or a like a manual job which requires any level of like, contact, like sharing some space with other people, because they're
Mm.
like, oh no, you are definitely carrying the virus. It all started with
Yeah,
you.
China Corona shit. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So of course, like, and there has always been this and this very very, like, because, like, even again, to bring our Lord and Savior Shekhar Gupta into the picture, a lot of his video on the situation was about, like, so few people don't want to care. Not only do they not care, don't want to care about Manipur, and like the broader Northeast. They're like, oh, what is happening? I don't care. What does not, like, it does not touch us. Just don't tell me about it. And that leads to, like, because this, like, especially that area is of also a broader national defense strategic position for
Yeah,
us.
because so much of the Northeast borders two countries, one which is like the source of a refugee problem, the other which is a significant geopolitical rival, and
Yeah.
the third which is also like the relations are kind of
Which one?
Bangladesh.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Bangladesh. Yeah. That's also not. Things are also not going well there. uh,
Love this is this is called true what is the word? Visual Guru status.
Vishwaguru status, of course. Yes. But yeah, this is like, I guess, no, we hope, we can only hope. This is a long term, just this is where that paradigm of like a long time is required to repair things applies really here. And
Mm.
a lot of the, like, this, I think at this point it is pretty clear, the center needs to take a closer and better look and have more accountability, and try to really, like, bring the Northeast into the fold properly, because it's a dangerous situation which will keep exploding in incidents like this, what is happening right now for the past.
Because like it's like I think more there are like triple digit deaths at this point.
I can check. I had the Wikipedia page open. I don't think the deaths is 98, injuries are 310,
Um,
26,000 temporarily
yeah,
displaced.
we might have hit triple digit. We are very close to triple digit deaths.
Hmm.
But the significant this thing is mass displacement. You're talking like
26,000 plus temporarily disabled, meaning camps, refugee camps in Manipur itself. 46,000 plus relocated to other
other areas
areas.
which would be neighboring states,
Yeah.
maybe slightly
Some of
further
them are
away.
coming to Delhi.
And some of them would be some of them there would be also a lot of like some degree of like informal like self displacement, so to speak, like
Yeah, yeah,
people
migration.
people
Yeah.
people would migrate to where they might have family, where they might have friends, things like that.
Armed forces and police personnel who were working there, they have abandoned their posts, like in their respective communities, and moved out. And
Mm.
this is also, like, I think this further compounds into like local law and order just completely going to hell. Because no,
Yeah,
there,
this doesn't look good, man. This is like uh we might legit be talking secession as like a this thing, and geopolitical implications of that, especially given like
the region. Yeah.
four the four neighboring states is uh,
It is, yeah. Worrying
I
is the word.
guess I mean I, I'm not an expert. I don't know. I guess we kind of need to have a sort of something that like the kind of integration of the Northeast into the mainstream
Hmm.
to the extent that it can happen, it has been overdue for decades at this point.
Yep. Yeah.
This is not like even this is not even necessarily a BJP thing. This has been like every Delhi government has kind of like has
Yeah.
kind of not really bothered.
Have been, yeah, very short-sighted
Like
in this.
yeah,
Yeah.
because like people like it's just a sort of like this thing like constant firefighting, right? Like you
Yeah.
have if you have a sort of if you have a sort of secessionist movement or violent movement, you kind of like try to address that, but you don't really
Yeah, you basically
you,
just, yeah, in solid terms,
so it's just
just
constant
send in troops.
firefighting.
Yeah, just send in troops, and then
Yeah,
those troops
like
don't leave, and they stay there for,
and then you kind of put AFSPA and then you
yeah,
kind of hope that AFSPA like deals with it, but
yeah,
like then you kind of just ignore second order and third order effects of AFSPA
yeah,
and
yeah. Things
fuck,
just
it's just
compound into worse and worse situations. Yeah, but yeah, yeah, hopefully, at least for the here
I
and
guess
now.
this is something we will try to kind of just follow as
Yeah,
things
in our
go
future
on
episodes.
because I
Yeah,
don't think because this is something whose solution, if it even exists, is on a time scale of months at best.
mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, so maybe in future episodes we'll get more updates on this, and we'll definitely keep an eye out
Mm.
for this. However, we did have a couple of more topics that I mentioned in the title, or wait, I did not mention in the title actually. We have covered all the topics that I mentioned in the title. I think one thing unofficially that I talked about a little was the wrestler protest situation. Uh,
I think
yeah.
that is also a big theme. This is, yeah.
Do you wanna?
I think,
Uh,
I think I can get into it.
hmm?
I think I can get into it.
Okay.
Do
Uh,
you want to, do you want to talk about it? Like,
so what I was thinking is that maybe let's do this in shorter chunks. Maybe we can.
no, wrestlers requires a full this thing.
Yeah, we are just now closing in at 2 hour mark,
Mm.
and I
I
do
think it's
feel
the last thing, but I think we can give 30 minutes
sure.
because I think it deserves, like, this definitely deserves like some degree of significant, like, talking about at least.
Yeah, yeah, and all the while concurrent to the new parliament inauguration, the protests for the removal of oh God, Bhushan Singh.
Which Bhushan said.
Bhushan Singh as the president of uh, what?
Wrestling Federation.
Yeah,
Isn't it
WFI.
Wrestling Federation?
Yeah, WFI, Wrestling Federation of India, I think.
Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh.
Yeah, Bhushan Sharan Singh. Uh,
Yeah. He is current president of WFI.
yeah, removal of Bhushan Charan Singh as Sharan Singh
Sharan.
as the president of WFI.
Mhm.
Ongoing since again months. I have been
Yes,
following this.
actually, this has been since I think around late last year. Actually,
Yeah, and a lot of our major not political, sports figures, people who have won medals for us during the Olympics as well,
Mhm.
and are had been in protest in, I think, Pragati Maidan. Um, no, wait, not that. Pragati Maidan is with
Was it Pragati Maidan or Jantar Mantar or what?
Jantar Mantar, not Pragati Maidan. Pragati Maidan is for private, like these things.
Mhm.
But yeah, and I think a lot of us would have seen the images as well. Uh,
Of
uh,
this thing being
the
brutalized. Yeah.
protesters getting, yeah, protests. Oh, wait, I don't. Did they remove them from the internet?
I don't know. Wait one sec. There's protest. Release. Release. Got it. 1 second. I'll send this to you.
Yeah, so we have Ayush Kumar filling in. Brij, Bhushan, Sharan Singh should be arrested because it is one of the POXO. POXO is protection of.
Let's get into the allegations against Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh.
Yes.
Several accusations. There have been several accusations of sexual harassment, including that of including that of an athlete who was at the time a minor, which would,
Ayush
Ayush,
Kumar, yeah.
as Ayush said, would be like
A violation
would
of.
bring it under would bring it under the purview of POXO.
Yep.
We There have been uh, there have been accusations of that the man allegedly propositioned athletes for sex and harassed those who refused. Uh, I think there is at least one accusation of rape in there, but I am not sure.
Yep, and there has been like demands for example, like private massages, and like this whole multi-year like thing, which has been going on for quite some time, and the man refuses to even resign. He's like completely fine. He was, I think, invited to the new parliament inauguration as well. Uh,
Yeah, there are seven complainants in the case, including a minor's identity, obviously given.
yeah.
The FIRs in the case mention allegations against Bhushan and WFI Secretary Vinod Tomar. The allegations include demanding sexual favors for professional assistance in at least two cases, at least 15 incidents of sexual harassment, including groping. Uh, if if you are sensitive to talk about case of sexual harassment, sexual assault, potentially rape, uh, this is like a, a warning, which is very late, but that we are going to talk about this. So yeah. Anyway, which at least discussion 15 incidents of sexual harassment, which include groping, inappropriate touching by running hands over breasts, navels, buttocks, and several instances of intimidation, including stalking. The complainant wrestlers stated that the acts of the accused have traumatized them. The FIRs mentioned that women wrestlers went out only in groups to have food to avoid meeting the accused alone. One of the complainants stated the accused threatened her with repercussions in the upcoming tournament trials as she resisted his attempts to make physical contact with her.
Oh,
She
Jesus
further stated she
Christ.
was hugely discriminated during the mentioned trials. End quote. This is Vinesh Fogart. Like, so
Hmm.
this is a name. This is not a
Yeah, a big
like.
name.
This is like somebody who is famous in her own
Yep.
right.
Yep.
Claimed that she was mentally harassed, tortured, and threatened to be killed by Bhushan for complaining against him to Modi and Sports Minister Anurag Thakur. She was made to face widespread media scrutiny for the same under the guise of missing out on a medal at Tokyo 21. Hmm. The incidents range from 2012, so this is like, yeah, this is very standard. Uh, One of these women wrestlers alleged Bhushan of sending goons to threaten her family, that would threaten her family to would face quote direct consequences and quote dire consequences and quote. She told if she told the incidents to the committee formed by WFI. Uh, yeah.
And all in the middle, again, this one another thing that you know, all the talks of, oh, how so much systemic crime is there in Muslim communities, and blah 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 blah, and all of this, right? Among all of that, let's look at what the Hindu community's response has been. uh, a rally
Okay.
in support of Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh was going to happen in Ayodhya. Please, TOI. Please, come on. Uh,
Just shut
let
it
me
off for like
read.
10 minutes.
Okay, you know what? Yeah, fine. For the people.
Um, Content Zindabad.
For the revolution. Yeah. Yeah. So they were. This was
Just
a
refresh it now. You
yeah.
it'll refresh. Just go ahead.
That yeah. Okay, but where
Yeah.
is
So this
the?
is rally.
Can I
Just
just?
check Cooper. The purpose of holding a Sant Sammelan at Ayodhya on June 5th was to discuss about the evil forces spreading in the entire society.
Evil forces of the society, but in view of the ongoing police probe and directions of the top court, that rally has been postponed. Of course, it took a court's direction. Wow,
Yeah.
to stop
Under
that.
fire for alleged sexual harassment, announced Friday that a Jan Chetana Maha rally planned for June 5th was being postponed because police are investigating the allegations.
Oh my
And
God,
there are
are there all
serious directions of the Supreme Court.
no allegations? Are some of the organizers also involved in some
No, I
cases?
think it's mostly,
Or
it's
that the
just
case is
him, but like,
pending. That's why.
I don't think it's a coincidence that and maybe I'm just trying to combine too many things into this, but I don't think it's a coincidence that there seems to be a sort of concerted effort to display Chandrachud as some kind of traitor to like Akhand Bharat.
Yeah, apparently Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh was also involved in the Babri demolition.
We can let's get into history of Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh. Um, uh,
Oh
38
man,
cases, 38 cases, including theft, rioting, murder, criminal intimidation, attempt to murder, kidnapping. Yeah, this is not
yeah,
even.
our huh?
Has confessed to at least one murder.
Yeah,
Like,
he just randomly said in an interview कि मेरे हाथ से सिर्फ एक मर्डर हुआ है, but nobody can tell which one, but he's
no,
like
not
एक तो.
safe, not safe. द कोट इज मेरे जीवन में मेरे हाथ से एक हत्या हुई है लोग कुछ भी कहे मैंने एक हत्या की है
Exactly.
इट इज नॉट सिर्फ सो ही हैज कमिटेड एटलीस्ट वन मर्डर
Okay, at least one in my knowledge, as much as I'm able to remember, एक का तो मर्डर किया है मैंने. But yeah, this I guess this is a testament to his. We talk a lot about strong arming. This is strong.
this is a, I mean this is not something that is particularly new.
Yeah.
Remember Kuldeep Singh Sengar, the guy who was basically a sort of repeat of the Damini.
Wait, are you talking about Hathras incident?
No.
Uh,
Uh, that oh god, I have to explain what Damini is now.
yes.
Have you seen Damini?
No. Is that
Damini
a
is
movie?
have you? Yes, it's a movie.
Okay.
Damini, you might have you heard the dialogue "ये 2.5 किलो का हाथ"
Ha. Okay.
and
Yes.
और
Oh, it's
तारीख पे
from that
तारीख
movie.
from that movie.
Okay.
Damini is basically a like a movie in which a woman goes like marries into like a household and like her brother-in-law or something is like a rapist and
Okay.
he rapes like the maidservant or something
Hmm.
and then she kills herself and she decides to like be a witness to and like and she decides to be a witness to the crime and suddenly people around her keep dropping dead
Okay. Oh.
like in
Oh.
accidents.
Right. Yeah.
The Kuldeep Singh Sengar case was similar. A woman had been like raped by, I think he was a BJP MLA or an MP. I'm not sure.
Could
Like
a
he was
more
one of
relatable example be the Jessica Lal murder case?
Jessica Lal was different. I think
I guess in that people witnesses weren't dying; they were just
they were
retracting
just
their
turning hostile. Yeah.
yeah.
Here it was like this woman like followed the case.
Hmm.
I think some relative of hers died.
Okay.
Uh, then her father got arrested on some flimsy charge, and then he died in custody.
Mm-hmm.
No explanation.
Mm-hmm.
Then I think she and her family were run over by some truck or something.
Oh
They
my God.
survived, but like heavily
Hmm.
injured.
Yeah.
like during and all of this, like during the this thing, right? Like during the whole case thing
Mm.
happening, and like it was just kind of very wild. And that's the reason why I think of Damini, because it followed that like movie very almost directly.
Mm.
But I guess like this is very normal sort of local satrap behavior, like thing, very stereotypical, you know, like
Yeah.
you're kind of
Yeah.
stereotypical North Indian type shit.
Yeah.
When you talk about where
The way the term Bahubali is understood in North India.
I guess
Yeah.
I honestly I don't know how the term Bahubali is understood in North India, but like the idea is that sort of that like this guy will have goons and he will basically do whatever he wants, and if somebody doesn't give him what he wants, he will take it by force. You know,
Something very interesting that
gangster
yeah,
behavior,
gangster,
gangster behavior.
which is so appropriate that you brought up gangster behavior right now, because I was reading into his Babri mosque allegations. Turns out that he was playing for the opposing team. He had been sheltering terrorists from the Dawood gang. Uh, so it said this probe, it was revealed that Brij Bhushan, then a BJP MP, had allegedly sheltered some terrorists of the same gang, and the gang being Dawood's
The
D
company
company. Um, uh, and
at an NTPC guest house in Safdarjung development area.
yes, and they surrendered in '96, and they were
And he was
charged with
later
Tada as well.
held under Tada. Yeah.
Man, how is this guy like? Oh God, what does he have? What does he have on BJP? Like even
My assumption is that he is just a goon. Like this is like Gunda politics, like where he gets some degree of votes. At
oh
least
okay,
to
okay.
some
By the
degree,
way,
it is coerced.
so parallel to the D company thing, he was also charged under
Major Karsevak and Babri, yeah.
yeah. So like both teams, he was playing on both sides.
Ah.
Yes.
Yeah, this is frankly, it is it. I don't know. This just seems like
How is this man still?
ideologically, religiously neutral Gunda politics.
Yeah, dude, what the
Like
like?
I do what I want. I assume he must have been paid for the like for the D company guys to hold, but like
Yeah,
but
but
Babri is a
having the
thing
yeah
where with Babri the context understandable. He was a BJP MP at that time also,
yeah.
and like people for a long time to date
Apparently, even
brag
Amitabh
about
Bachchan.
being at this thing, right?
Yeah. Do you believe Amitabh Bachchan was involved in this? Babri.
In Babri,
Yeah.
in the sense that he was there, probably not. In the sense that he supports it, I don't know.
Isn't there
Uh,
like a whole thing that he gave a speech to the car
Amitabh?
savers? Yeah, just before they went ahead with the demolition.
I haven't seen any.
But you know
I
that,
saw the.
yeah, you know
I mean,
that,
it's
yeah,
it's possible. It uh, for me, Amitabh when it comes to politics has been more spineless than anything.
yeah,
But
kind of a
like,
failure story.
yeah,
Yeah,
like he was a congressman, right? He worked with the Congress. He worked with that very famous Congress dumbfuck. I forgot his name.
uh,
Uh,
don't look at me. I'll. If
that
you don't know, then I
guy.
don't know either.
Good. So like he had like
Oh, okay. Ayush Kumar is filling in. He said he thinks he heard Amitabh was involved in '84 riots,
oh
not
yeah,
Babri.
no, oh yeah, 84 he was definitely involved in Amitabh. Yeah, that was
Ah,
like a big like thing.
okay. I got them mixed
And
up. Yeah.
mm,
Thanks, Ayush
but
Kumar.
not in Babri as far as I know.
Yeah, but no,
As
no,
far as
but
I know, Bollywood wasn't really loud on like when it came to Babri.
this is the
Uh,
thing that even my man Shekhar Gupta, when he was covering this topic, he was like, I am also shocked. How is he being kept around being so optically toxic, like being such like a radioactive waste dump of like
I
optics.
mean, I think he just has like this part of it is just gunda politics, right? He will
Yeah, yeah,
he will
he's
get
like,
goons to like he has like muscle power on the street, and I think that
hmm,
counts for a lot.
yeah,
Another part is he seems to have at least some degree of clout. Another part is, and I presume at least some degree of insider connections because he has been an MLA for MLA MP
MP, MP.
MLA an MP for so long,
Yeah,
and because usually when you have somebody who switches parties this much, this guy is by the way a former Samajwadi Party guy,
I know.
so
Yeah,
like this is typical. Usually, this kind of thing happens when it comes to when the election equation is closely related to caste, where you have a
hmm,
guy who gets votes not because of like ideology or like work or anything, but because it is like a community thing.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
mean that's fine, but like whatever. But that is the cause that you're not talking about anything else, and that is why the party chases the candidate. The candidate does not chase the party.
Yeah, this is again something we talked about. Oh, right now they have turned it into Jat versus Rajput caste war.
Yeah,
Uh,
because this guy is a Rajput,
Rajput. Oh,
Brij Bhushan.
yeah. But yeah, this is something again we talked about in our last episode when we were talking about the regional powerful people being poached, quote unquote, by
Mm. Yeah,
political
because
parties.
because they're not elected based on this thing, right? Like
Yeah.
party affiliation. As much as frankly the BJP would probably want them to.
That's what they missed out in Karnataka, right? That's what the context of our discussion was, that the
Mm.
Congress had like two big names, established, popular names, and the BJP just had the face of Modi and a lamppost candidate.
Mm.
But yeah, I guess that is what like his thing is,
Mm. Yeah.
and yeah,
So
like
it's
this
just
is concurrent to like a new parliament being building being inaugurated with uh, uh, like Brij Bhushan
with
Singh
Bhushan in attendance.
in
He
attendance.
like he has refused to resign. He has like, and there has not really been pressure on him to resign. Frankly, there has been a lot of pressure to resign for anyone really. Like
Yeah,
how many
even
high-profile
though FIRs
resignations
have
have
been
been?
lodged now, like
Yeah, but like, and I mean this is a POXO case, so this is like
yeah, it's really severe. However, like I think like to look at the silver lining, this is going to get a lot of your average uncles into like sort of like disillusionment about the
because I guess, I mean, I hope so. It's possible. One part of this has already become an international issue.
yeah.
The International Wrestling Federation has said that until this matter is resolved to the satisfaction of all parties, India, as far as I know, will not be represented at uh,
I
International
mean,
Wrestling.
these
I
are
mean,
yeah, like I
I mean,
don't
it's
yeah.
yes, it's a boilerplate, but like it is international attention, and it is bad international attention, which Modi will probably be more, which Modi cannot really internationally spin.
Yes. Yeah.
Obviously, when it comes to, I don't know if you've seen the nuisance video about the Brij Bhushan thing.
I've not yet. I was planning to, but not
Uh,
yeah.
the it is as vile as you think it is.
Hmm.
It's people talking about how like there is this maybe morphed is the wrong word, but like there is this sort of altered photo where the wrestlers are just chilling out with police or
Oh yeah,
something.
yeah. They had
Uh,
like an AI altered image of like the people in the police van like smiling, the protesters, and the original image is of course them not smiling, but they made it appear as if they are just chilling in the police van, and all the photos from like the protest itself, all the people being dragged away from it, and like trying to resist, all of that had been staged because ultimately this they were all just in
yeah,
cahoots with
so
each other.
like yeah, so like the because the news media angle on this is that this is all like a conspiracy by Congress, Congress mostly. and Soros. One part of
Soros.
and then like people, there was also like a big thing when, and I probably should have brought this up earlier, where they talked about how a lot of wrestlers said that if the guy was not removed, they would take their medals and immerse them in
In
the
Ganga.
Ganga,
Yeah, I saw that too.
and then like I mean that's big, like this thing, right? And like obviously the
So
news
by
media.
immerse, do they mean drop? Because why would they not just say drop? And
No,
what
no,
is
no,
the
because it's a sort of ritual, this thing, right? Because when
it's
because
tainted, the medal is
yeah,
tainted.
because
Yeah.
the idea is that like if my country will not stand for me, I will not. The medal doesn't, the single value of the medal is gone because it is earned for India, kind of, right?
Okay.
Like it's a sort of ritual thing. Obviously, it's in your head because when it comes to because it's sort of nationalist feeling, right?
Yeah.
It's always there.
Yeah.
Obviously, the news media kind of did some random bullshit. They were
Even
talking
Ayush,
about
yeah, Ayush is
how
talking about how this is all given the spin of arrogant wrestlers not wanting to play nationals.
mm,
Which, oh, I guess, yeah, yeah, I remember now. I remember, Ayush. I remember what the spin is. The spin is that they do not want to play qualifying rounds for being nominated for Olympics. Like they don't want
what
to. Yeah, yeah.
what
Like yeah, so they don't want to follow, like they're these arrogant people who are like, okay, if we won a medal once, then why do we go through the whole selection process again for the next Olympics? We should have direct entry. That is like again the BJP propaganda. I remember this, and they're like,
Shit.
okay, that they have this year they have introduced this new rule that no, everybody will need to follow the selection process, and
Yeah,
that's what their actual.
so the idea is that this is just a bahana, and the real reason is they want to just qualify for get go into the Olympics directly or something.
Which does not make absolutely any sense because there's way too many people who have not won an Olympic medal ever,
No,
which have filed the complaints against this guy, and like which are in quite early stages of their career. Like imagine the risk that they are taking. Like they are fully tanking their like sports careers for this because they think they'll be able to walk out of it just directly qualifying for Olympics. Like they are willing to disingenuously raise this issue of sexual harassment, something as serious as sexual harassment, and they are fully expecting it to not go anywhere. Just that they will, out of appeasement, they will get direct entry into Olympics. How does that work? How is a logical conclusion of this chain of events that the people, the bigwigs, will get a direct entry to Olympics?
the more the then we have had like the standard news article, this thing where we get into payments. Apparently, because India, apparently because the sports, because the Indian government has spent so much money on these athletes,
Hmm.
like they had even like written some, they had listed a few figures.
Hmm.
Apparently, there was one major wrestler
Hmm.
who on whom
Hmm.
had the total spending. The spending was about 25.8 crore. No, sorry, 2.58 crore.
Hmm. Okay.
Now this is now if you think about it,
Hmm.
for an Olympic level athlete,
Hmm.
that is a pitiful sum.
Okay.
It's not.
Hmm.
This is not like 1 year ka
Hmm.
only. This is like lifetime.
Right. Hmm. Yeah.
For an Olympic level athlete,
Hmm.
25.8 million is about 350,000 US dollars.
Hmm.
It is legitimately a pitiful sum.
Right.
And the idea
Considering
is
considering how rare it is for
because you're talking
Indian.
about the internet, if you're talking about like you're competing with the international standard, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
because that's what the Olympics is. And
Yeah.
then the idea is that these people desh ka khaya hai, and now desh ka they are
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah. But I guess like those, because the reason why I focus on those images so much, from Jantar Mantar and all those protests and areas, is because like I know this guy who's like, quote unquote centrist political. He sometimes posts political stuff,
Yeah,
but it's like mostly
it's
common
a very
sense.
visceral image when you look at it.
Yeah. And wait, I had opened. Wait, where is it? Yeah, hold on. I'm just gonna put it. But yeah, so what he said, like he had been like a very, like, oh, both sides, like, balanced kind of a guy. And even he was like, because he really cares about sport. Like, among any other people I know, that guy follows sports even when it's not trending. So he follows all sports. And he was like, my head is hanging in shame today after, like, this has happened, after seeing these images.
I think this is something that, like, look, I think if you care about sports, this is something. I think if you care about sports as more than like jingoistic BS,
Hmm.
like you care about sports people even when they are not getting glory to India, quote unquote. I
Yeah.
think this is something that will hit you because these are people who have dedicated their lives to being among the best in the world and
Yeah.
have represented India at the highest level of international sport.
Yeah.
And they should not have to face this. I mean, nobody should have to face this, but like, I mean, you know what I mean, right?
From a
Like,
normie perspective, especially, these people should not have to face this.
right. Like,
Yeah.
obvious, like when these people have earned the right to at least for their accusations to be taken seriously, at
Yeah.
absolute minimum, Brij Bhushan should have had to resign.
And like we were talking about that, right? So that one print article, they have compiled his, list of achievements very nicely. And the same thing, so we were talking about.
What, at minimum, one self-confessed murder.
Yeah. That the one time the BJP decided to expel him, he joined SP. That's when it happened. That one win as a SP candidate was when, in 2000, around 2008, the BJP expelled Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh, and he joined SP and contested from the pocket borough of Kesarganj and won again. So, I mean, it's purely a matter of like gunda politics, on the ground power. And this guy, and like, of course, like, at least, what do you say, like, the public perception. I guess at least it would fragment, right? At least a lot of the people who would not care about politics, they're like, oh, there should not be politics in sport, have to acknowledge that this is not a really a political issue. It is not like child sexual harassment, sexual harassment of women players is not, again, it's not a political opinion, right? It's the fact that it should not happen, it should be punished. And the response to that, what is like the way that the Delhi police has like responded to it, at least fragments their hardcore base even more, right? Because some of them can, of course, because then again we can very
I
safely
don't
say
think
again.
there are a lot of. I don't know if there are a lot of like hardcore women respecters, so to speak. But
No, but
yeah,
there are
like
hardcore
because
sports respecters.
I guess, but like even then, like here's the thing, because we have not, because we have had like rallies in support of rapists before. You may remember Kathua from like
Hathras, right? The Hathras
not
thing.
Hathras Kathua before that.
Okay, yeah.
Do you remember Kathua? That
It was a
what's her
minor,
face?
right?
Child was kidnapped, gang raped for like a week and then murdered.
Yeah. I remember. Yeah, I know the.
Asifa, her name was Asifa.
Hmm.
Like this was like a fuck like 10-year-old,
Hmm.
yeah, something
Yeah,
around
I
that
know it
time.
was like a
And then there was
grossly
like a
young
rally
child.
of the rallies in support of the rapists
Yeah.
and things like that. So this is not
Let's not
so
even.
like
let's not even dig so much. Dude, don't you remember this one hashtag I shared with you, which was thinking the girl was major, which was like,
Oh, this is that whole the Asaram thing, right?
yeah. So
Yeah, the
so yeah, yeah. So this is like not even a regional thing.
yeah.
Nationally,
So
people were like,
yeah,
Asra
so
Babu did nothing wrong. The
no,
girl
this
was
is
not a
Asaram.
minor.
The Asaram thing you can at least call as a cult, like
I guess.
because.
Yeah.
But the thing is,
No, but they
so
always
I guess
take
the point
this.
is that this is
The
not new.
the
This
reason
kind of
it's a narrative.
rapist
Yeah.
support is not new.
It's not. So from the perspective of the supporters, it's not rapist support. What it is that, and especially this was illustrated when I looked deeper
So
into. Huh?
Soros has framed these guys
Correct.
to
It
yeah.
is the narrative that any time, for example, any religious person gets implicated in anything, people try to prosecute them to the highest extent of the law. So they will inflate the severity of the crime, and that is what the point of the revelation about, like, quote unquote revelation about Asaram's victim not being a minor was that this was a deliberate thing that they charged him under, like,
Also,
Boxo, that that they just wanted him gone, so they just accused him of the worst crime possible. Like, that is the narrative, and that their narrative is that, oh, Indian judiciary is biased against, like, Hindu men.
yeah, blah blah blah. Yeah,
Okay,
so there's
so it's
typical crime. Uh, I guess like here, I think a few people will be like turned against the BJP. I guess I don't. I guess part of it is why I don't know why they are hanging on to him for so long. But like I assume it is like this thing related, uh, like seat or caste or something related. But but like I I guess it just feels like this is something uh, that is going to that I don't know how much it is going to like swerve people because of you know because this kind of thing has happened before and it hasn't really changed a lot of minds. It's easy to spin this narrative. Like if you bring in one thing that when it comes one major advantage of peddling a conspiracy theory is that any narrative you push can be like justified when you're talking about a conspiracy theory.
yeah.
When you because when you have Soros, so there is the reason why Brij Bhushan is actually innocent is because Soros is paying off the wrestlers to this thing to
I've not
protest.
seen a lot of Soros posting when it comes to this case.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
I guess when with
it's
this particular, but
it
it's
is
just
not a
general
it is not a
conspiracy,
yeah,
right?
it's not a long shot. It's a natural progression of the same line of thinking.
And
It will
it's a
eventually
reason
reach
why
Soros.
it's a reason why conspiratorial thought is so attractive. You
Yeah.
can never be wrong.
Yeah. Every time you're proven wrong, you can be like, you try to be like, okay, you don't know. We don't know that. This was against this again another cope thing for the Koala story thing. People were like, okay, the National Bureau only investigated these many cases, but we don't know how many cases they did not investigate.
Did you
But
go to Syria? Did
yeah,
Dhruv go to Syria?
not even that, even remaining in India, it is like, what do you even say to a person where they're like, okay, 5,000 cases were investigated. They're like, okay, what about, what if the 5,001st case was the real evidence? So what do you even say to such a person? There is nothing to say. That is to your point, that they are always right, they can always justify themselves, that okay, there is
I
no,
guess
yeah.
I guess because when you talk about this, actually they only did it because they are arrogant and don't want to qualify like normal wrestlers. And or you can just like go the whole like news media thing and just try to like defame them basically. You
They
say
are
that
going the full
they
victim
have
blaming,
been
yeah.
they have the government has spent your money on these wrestlers.
Yeah, 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 again, yeah, yeah, yeah. They are wasting the government's money, it's our money. And like they have gone full victim blaming mode as well. They have gone full like the such a typical stereotypical line that I can't even imagine people saying it, because again watching some videos to get fair and balanced view on both. People are like, okay, why did these not come ahead earlier?
I swear to
It's like
God,
this is, oh my,
it just
I
repeats.
thought we
Like
went through
like
this.
there are tens of the. It's just like it just feels. I hate rad films, but I get them sometimes, and this is times when I get them. This is like
Yeah,
because
sometimes
anytime a
they
high
feel
profile kind of
reasonable.
thing, huh?
Sometimes they feel reasonable.
Yeah, because this just kind of repeats, right?
Yeah.
Anytime there's like this high profile thing, it just kind of it's just like, why didn't they come out earlier? Because like the obvious like connection to a high profile case is Weinstein. Like
Huh.
obviously there's no government case there, but like the obvious relation is to something
That's what
like
I said.
Weinstein.
We
And
went,
the same
yeah.
sort of rationales keep coming around. Why did you wait for so long? Why did you this thing? Where they are just trying to being
The cloud chasers,
manipulative.
they're trying to hop on the trend.
Yeah, and it
Maybe,
just
yeah,
repeats, right?
yeah, that maybe one case is true, but how can it happen that he raped 10 women? Like, why not? What do you
Frankly,
mean?
from what I have seen, frankly, the universe is true.
What? That,
Have
that
you?
there are more unreported cases.
If it is no, if there is sexual harassment, is all this kind of sexual harassment, sexual assault, this kind of stuff, almost never individual.
Huh.
If it has
Yeah.
happened once,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
almost always has been a pattern, and that is
yeah.
why when one person comes out, a lot more people tend to come out.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Because
yeah.
it is all because it is not, because usually almost without exception, this is not targeted. It
Yeah.
is like behavior. It is like a behavior thing. That is why it happens when a person behaves like this. It behaves like this with multiple women.
Yeah,
It is
yeah.
almost never happens to one person and only one person. Like when you say it happened to one person, but how can it happen to that many people? The almost inverse is true. If you say one person accused and nobody else accused, I'm less likely to believe, frankly, because this kind of thing is a pattern of behavior. It has happened every single time. Like one person has come out, and credibly, like 10 or 20 people have come out and
Yeah, yeah,
talked
because
about this
people
kind of stuff.
people will try to, people always also do this, like, not, at least it has not happened so far in India, but a lot of the time it's like, oh, like, it's always these ugly feminists complaining about these things. Why would they rape an ugly person, right? Because it's the same cope, it's the same
That was the
weird.
that was the thing where Trump said, I wouldn't like I think she's not my type or something,
Yeah,
and I think that
yeah,
that
she's
that case
she's she's
actually
blonde,
this
I
actually
don't
reached
like
us
blondes.
recently.
Yeah,
She is
yeah,
not my type,
yeah, yeah.
and like it was like I think the case happened only recently, right? Where in
Very
civil court
recently, and the verdict
his
was also passed, and
accuser.
he was convicted. So
Hmm.
he is now like a convicted sexual assault perpetrator. And but yeah, so to your point, as you were saying, right, that okay, like it is almost never target. This is something that people don't understand, that it is not that, okay, in general I respect women, however in this particular woman I cannot respect. My internal urges would not
Woman
allow.
respect her.
Yes. Okay. So that's,
Normally, I am a woman respecter. I do a
yes,
lot of izzat of aurat, and
yes,
but like,
yes,
yeah, this is
yes. उनका सम्मान is सर्वोपरि to me. However, this,
this thing, aurat devi hoti hai, blah blah blah.
yeah, yeah. However, this one, like, it does not, none of this works like that. And it's like, yeah, we that's what I was about to say, that I thought we went through this with Me Too. When this happened, like, because it was such a big scandal that we almost cycled through all talking points. Uh,
Mm.
that became like a
And
bench.
and and the thing is, it is genuinely like jarring because the talking points have just come up again
Yeah,
with this.
yeah,
It happened with, and I don't know whether it happened actually with MJ Akbar, because I mean, yes, he quit, but like on one hand, he's a kind. like it is easy to throw out MJ Akbar.
Mm-hmm.
He's not winning the votes. Plus,
Mm-hmm.
he's Muslim.
Mm-hmm.
But this, but Kuldeep Singer was kept for an obscene amount of time in the party
Mm-hmm.
before he resigned.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, and I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure there are at least a few more. Uh,
Yeah.
let's not even get into Sajid Khan. That's a whole different discussion.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I guess the the talking points being recycled is like something that legitimately gets me.
Yeah. It is. It is really unfortunate. Yeah, but like again, you take the wins kind of, or like there's not a win so much as my like situational thing, because a win ultimately in India right now is awareness, in my opinion. Awareness plays a big part, and like there will always
I
be.
think the situation is I think the point is you kind of have to try to make the situation like untenable, at least for like
Yeah.
people who believe in this kind of stuff. Like I don't know, uh, like I mean, I think it's a little. This is going to sound horrible to say,
Mm-hmm.
but fuck, I don't know how to say it in a way that isn't terrible. That doesn't sound terrible,
Mm-hmm.
but I think the fact that the Delhi rape case happened, the 2012 rape case, the Nirbhaya case, quote unquote, means that everybody has means that people have means that Nirbhaya is kind of the perfect victim, so every other victim gets compared to her.
Mm-hmm. Or like the benchmark victim.
Yeah, and so
Mm-hmm.
like in ways where it was where cases weren't similar to her,
Mm-hmm.
they kind of tend to get discredited. You know,
Mm-hmm. I think you're right. I think this is that effect where when something very severe happens and gets a lot of media attention, people.
every everybody just kind of compares it to every subsequent rape case kind of gets compared to that,
Yeah.
or even not even rape. Like we're
In
talking like
general crime. Yeah. For
sexual crimes, the sort of general.
not
Uh,
even because this is again an example that immediately comes to my mind is about gun crime in the US, is that how much like assault weapon mass shootings of public places, schools, that right comes up. And of course mass shooting, I did not believe this statistic, but apparently it's true that it's like the biggest cause of child death in the US. Oh wow. However, when it
is that
comes
is
to,
that is that a is that a legislative?
I guess for a year, or I guess like by many, like because Jon Stewart quoted it in one of his interviews, and but when it comes to adults in general population, most gun crimes or most gun deaths even are committed through handguns, which are easier to
Right.
conceal, easier to own, and
Right.
when most of the
Like the
deaths, yeah,
AR-15 is like it's a high-profile weapon, but it's not really a
is not,
like a
yeah,
a
number wise
super
not
common.
that
Yeah.
deadly.
Mm.
Yeah, and a lot of the crime happens domestically. A lot of the crime is perpetrated against domestic partners, children in the house, family
Right.
members, or yourself. Many people use
Yeah.
it.
I think the biggest like
Gun deaths,
result of this most gun deaths are suicides. Like
suicide.
that's like the
Yeah,
standard thing. Yeah.
yeah.
The
So
suicide thing
yeah,
is a whole different thing, but like yeah.
yeah, that gets into the men's suicide territory. But again, what we are talking about is a visibility. And as you mentioned, right, Nirbhaya happened, and then it's like, okay, now we're gonna hyper focus on this particular set of circumstances should not happen again. But again, lot of assault happens domestically. Even in India, a lot of assault
I
happens
mean,
like people
I
in.
mean, I mean, we still don't have like marital
Stats.
rape is still not a crime in this country,
Correct.
and,
Yeah.
and like and whenever the bill is brought up, it keeps getting shot down, almost frankly, almost bipartisanly.
Yeah, yeah, and in fact
So
now it's not even like a matter of bipartisanship because BJP has a full majority, and
right,
their whole petition was that this should not be decided. This should be decided by a democratic vote, like democratically elected representatives. This is not a matter for the court to settle. And
no, that's gay marriage, I think.
no, no, that's even this, even
So even
marital
this
rape.
lovely,
Yeah.
right?
And like, okay, no, because of this, like the Hindu definition of marriage is different. That is what in the case of like, yeah, okay, that was a gay marriage case in which it was like
That
there
is
is
gay
no
marriage. That
strict
is gay marriage,
definition of
definitely.
men and women in a marriage.
Yeah,
uh,
yeah. Like I think we had this thing, right? The whole Chandrachud thing, because Chandrachud had said like in that context that there is no significant difference between men and women, and then people just kind of, I mean, the nice way of saying it is that people trolled him, but like people were just kind of talking about how he was basically a traitor to Hindu Rashtra. Like,
yeah, it is all western influence, western propaganda.
yeah, maybe he was like this thing by Soros. His quote, lovely. Even we have great, completely unrelated like members of parliament.
Who are you talking
Kapil
about?
Mishra is an MLA, I think.
Who?
Kapil Mishra is MLA, right?
I will have to check. uh,
Kapil Mishra, I'm sure is an MLA. Yeah, MLA in Delhi.
yeah, former member of
Uh,
Delhi is
yeah, he basically, like he was basically a big this thing of the like
it is,
starter of the whole Delhi
yeah, he's an
riots back in
ex-MLA. Okay.
2020.
Yeah.
Oh, he was kicked out. Okay. Anyway, so when Chandrachud said that, quote, no such thing as an absolute concept of biological man and woman,
Hmm.
which is, I mean, a spicy take, but like, okay.
It's very,
His
yeah.
uh,
Wouldn't expect this
reaction,
from an Indian uncle, let's say.
reaction. Quote, this comment by Honorable CJI will not remain limited to same-sex marriage. If it goes into the final judgment, it will have consequences on women's reservation, women's sports, and on various women empowerment initiatives. Is this within the mandate of Honorable Judiciary? I think, yeah. So, yeah, the implication is that, so we are just kind of trying to get rid of judiciary. So,
This is
like,
this is the
there,
tough.
there,
This is
I'd
the,
showed
yeah,
you,
yeah. Go
I'd
ahead.
showed you this thing, right? The
You did
whole,
send me this tweet. Yes.
yeah, like there's a whole set of tweets where
Yeah.
like they were talking, a lot of people have been sort of organizedly kind of attacking Chandrachud for basic non-reactionary opinions.
Yeah. And even that was like, this is basically the foundation of tough thought. This is the
It
foundation.
is
This
not
is,
even tough. It's just I hate trans people.
I mean, yeah, they
Yeah, but
like,
like a different kind of
people
people.
don't know trans people exist
Like
in
Ben
India.
Shapiro, I wouldn't call it tough. Exactly.
No, no, but this is the sort of empathetic position, because a lot of the people, yeah, again, transphobic, yeah, just straight up transphobic people, take this position that this is an encroachment upon women's like
Yeah, the typical like
progress.
women's rights are invaded by trans people. Even though this specific thing had nothing to do with trans people,
No, no,
he wasn't
because
talking about.
here's the thing. This is just to bookend this, right? This is something that is very important for me to say. The
Mm,
biggest Western influence right now in India socially is right wingers. Right wingers have drunk the full like Western right wing Kool Aid. All
mm,
their talking points, philosophy, prescriptions, axioms, all come from Western right wing media. Okay, and they are anticipating trans rights to become an issue in India. ठीक है? In fact, they would much rather, because the way that they are
because then
seeing,
they can just do control C, control V on like Matt Walsh videos.
yes, yes, they are, because okay, Hindu Muslim reconciliation is still, if we create a spectrum of how extreme ideas are, to an Indian person, the idea of a fully trans person, not the Kinnar community, okay, a fully trans person from gender A to gender B, right,
Mhm.
is so hard to sell. The stack is decked in their favor so much that they're just waiting for it. They're baying for blood. It's like this would be like such a easy knockout of the park kind of a shot for them. And they're like, that's the reason why, because nobody is talking about trans people in this gay marriage bill. Nobody is talking about trans people at any judicial like mainstream like attention level. But they're still like, it's all because I see this, even that organization that did the Elon Puja, SIF, Save India
Yeah,
Family Foundation,
yeah, like
and
those same MRA types.
yeah,
I think
they
they probably they actually like gone full pro Andrew Tate, or have they were they are they like original MRAs who are like full Rollo Thomas types?
they are very pathetic. They half their posts are crying about other MRA organizations not like supporting them, and the second thing is, like, for example, it was like, okay, some girl in Gujarat was like took sannyas, became like a
Or some
sadhu.
child, right? Some
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
some like
Like a 9-year-old
10,
child.
12 year old, 9 year old, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So what they took from it is that if we allow children to do this at such young age, we are not too far from children deciding to change their gender. ठीक है?
What?
Yeah, straight up. Like, out of the blue transphobia, just from nowhere, out of the left field. Okay, we are
No,
talking
they
about.
must have seen the video. They must have seen a Matt Walsh video on the same day, and they're like, and
Yeah.
that topic is the only thing roaming around in their head. And then they read that news headline, and it's like, and then this is the connection they made.
Yeah, a child was allowed to do something.
Yeah,
Then they
if a
said this
child
is,
is allowed to do something, the child may one day decide to change their gender, and then what is a woman?
which is so antithetical to their beliefs, because okay, if a child took sannyas, like, isn't that what you want? Isn't that like children? Don't you want them to be brahmachari till age of 25?
To be
Uh,
fair, to
huh?
be fair, I think the brahmachari thing in her case is like for life. So
Whatever. Like, what is, like? Isn't it according to like Hindu traditional Indian things? Like, there is a structure for it. A section
the
of our society.
trad comforts.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Try this is what is more trad than this, dude. Like, yeah, so that's the thing. So that's the reason why, like, I keep harping on this point. Is the biggest Western influence, if you can see in media today, especially like online, is right wing. They are just like, it's just a pipeline from Matt Walsh's mouth to them. And even like, talking of that, like, I don't know if anybody is watching still. If you are the last viewer, congratulations. But the Daily Wire took an L recently. They were planning to make What is a Woman available on Twitter for free for everyone. And Twitter decided that, okay, only followers of their official account will get to watch it, and it will not be promoted, and it will not be like.
I think it even got like a warning or something, and then Matt Walsh was big mad, and that cat turd guy was big mad, and a lot of guys were big mad.
The funny thing was that Matt Walsh had tweeted something like, "Oh, we have special plans for Pride Month." Uh,
And on the first day of Pride Month,
and
they
this
did
like
that, and
crashed so
then
badly. They were like, and it's like just rage tweeting at Elon. Elon, how could you do this to us? Why did you do this? You said misgendering is not a crime. It's like, this is supposed to be free speech, Elon. Elon,
no,
it's a, Elon himself.
Elon,
Elon himself is coping with the fact that his investment in Twitter is like 66% gone now.
isn't
The
it like 15 now or 15? I think it's like 15 billion at this point, right?
No, no,
Valuation.
8.
What?
Yeah, to
They
current
bought it
valuation of
for
Twitter.
40, 30 or 40, 40.
Not
My
not
brain
40.
is
I think 30.
44 or
Right?
33, 30 to 35, something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
It
It's
down
it's
to
about a
8.
third, lower than that. Yep.
Lovely.
And it's like a full somebody
Couldn't
like,
happen to a better guy.
as somebody made like a proper post, like a not post, like a an article about the proper everything, the breakdown, because his plan to make Twitter more profitable by selling Twitter Blue completely failed, because less than 1% of people onboarded to Twitter Blue, like the monthly
And the
users.
big issue is that Twitter Blue has kind of become a mark of an Elon simp. Like
Yeah,
it's because it's like an insult at this point, right?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
you are a Twitter Blue
So
subscriber,
this
you
is
pay
just
for
our
Twitter, karke.
this is just personal gossip at this point because so there is this account called Vint. Do you know Vint?
Drill, yeah.
Drill, yeah, Drill Vint, yeah. Basically, Drill is like the OG shit poster on Twitter, and so with him, like he start. I think he either amplified the hashtag or started it, which is like block the blue, which was like
Mm.
as soon as you see a blue checkmark person, just block them. Okay, and that like took off, and then Elon was like, okay, you know what? I will give you Twitter Blue for free.
Yeah.
So
And then he changed his name.
he kept changing his name so that it is not verified and the Twitter blue mark stays away. However, I think finally he just has settled with it, or I don't know. But I have not seen like any of his tweets recently. But yeah, it was very funny. And then they started giving like handing out Twitter blue to just anybody with more than a million followers, and a lot of meme pages
For what
became.
it's worth, he doesn't have the tick right now.
Huh?
For what it's worth, he doesn't have the tick right now.
Oh, Drill. Okay, yeah. Drill is winning the Twitter blue war. We stand Drill. But yeah, and like it's like yeah, he's just reverting to the old way of Twitter, like blue checkmark, which was like Twitter deciding who gets to get it because people aren't paying for it. And whoever's paying is like just the worst people on Twitter. Nobody likes them. But yeah,
Anyway, I think we are all set.
yeah.
I
Ah,
think now that we have got into like Twitter blue discourse, I think we should
yes.
wrap things up.
Yeah, yeah. Now we are really starting to go off the deep end. We should stop while we are ahead. But yeah,
Anyway, if you are still here, the one person who is still watching, thank you very much. Thank you to everyone really who watched, or if you watch again later.
yeah,
Um, I we will like try to. We hope for feedback, like, share, and subscribe.
yes,
But like really, like if you
yeah,
want like comments and stuff like that, we are very open to it.
yeah. We
You
really
can.
appreciate. I don't. Yeah, we really appreciate the people who joined. I think we had a very lively chat today. After
Mm.
like for the first time in
For the first time, we had like conversations with chatters, right? So
yeah,
that
yeah.
is
So
so.
really appreciate that. That makes things interesting. However, it derails us, but it's fine. We are adults. We can come
उतना
back to it.
derailment चलता है.
Ha. Anyway, yeah.
So
Have a nice day,
yeah,
everyone, and see you later.
yeah. See you. Like, share,
Bye.
subscribe.